phone don't die. La 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 la. Where's the blue skies? La 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 la. Where there's blue skies and sunshine and summer never ends. Oh, I love that shit. Here we go. It's going down like this, motherfucker.
Nigga get mad. Say, motherfucker, what you mean you ain't gonna let me in this funky joint? Much money I done spent in here, nigga. I knew your mama when she was hoeing. Hump, baby. Shit, bet I do it over time. Say that, nigga. Shit. Bar, bet the bar, off time. Shit, boy, I'm trying to make me some money. Boy, I'm hungry as a hog needs slop Jesus. Shit, gotta be a Jesus, cause too many black folks.
Ask you something? I said, can I ask you something? Ain't I'm clean?
For what he has, he says that the only way that we can solve our problem, for what he has, he says that the only way that we can solve our problem, for what he has, he says that the only way that we can solve our problem is to unite together among ourselves, among our own kind, clean ourselves up, rid ourselves of the evils that we've become addicted to here in this society, and try and...
I'm trying to told you that we heard. I'm trying to told you that we heard many. I'm trying to told you that we heard many. I'm trying to told you that we heard many. I'm trying to told you that we heard many. I'm trying to told you that we heard many.
Yes, he destroy black boys. If you destroy him as a boy, he'll never become a man. Yes, he destroy black boys. If you destroy him as a boy, he'll never become a man. Yes, he destroy black boys. If you destroy him as a boy, he'll never become a man.
This ain't loud enough. I'm still trying. This ain't loud enough. I'm still trying. This ain't loud enough. I'm still trying. This ain't loud enough. I'm still trying.
I just left a light in this bitch. I just left a light in this bitch. I'm finna hit the shop in this shit.
Fuck up. Move the fuck up. Move the fuck back. Fuck up. Move the fuck back. Fuck up. Move the fuck back. Fuck up. Move the fuck back.
Me and Bubba trying to rescue some kittens. Me and Bubba trying to rescue some kittens. Me and Bubba trying to rescue some kittens.
Your feet. He looked down, seen his feet. The nigga went berserk. Killed the monkey. Threw the bat out the window. Start kicking that bitch in the air.
Say anyway, but I will. The way quantum entanglement works is that you can take two particles, quantum entangle them, and then take those two particles and move them at any distance in the cosmos. And let's just say, for example, if you quantum entangle two electrons and you have them spinning in the same direction, and then you take one of those electrons and you shoot that thing out 100,000 light years from the original. If you then rotate the spin on the one electron, if you modify it so that its spin changes, the quantum entangled electron at any distance will simultaneously in no time switch its rotation also, because they're quantum entangled. So these communication systems are taking advantage of this aspect of quantum mechanics that most people can't wrap their heads around, and this is what they're utilizing. It's just the new level of science that affords us the ability to communicate at any distance instantaneously.
You don't understand. You don't understand. You don't understand. I ain't scared of you motherfuckers. Cooling out, just being cool, like I am, chilling.
You're a philosopher?
Yes.
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 You're a philosopher?
Yes. I think very deeply. I think very deeply. white boys out there. Most of them is psychopaths and all that. They'll kill your mama's mama, and you.
Decent white folk that still don't know they're racist.
What the hell you want here, hunky?
I don't mean to be out of line. I mean to be rude. I don't mean to be out of line. I mean to be rude. I don't mean to be out of line.
What's all that noise? What's all that noise? What's all that noise? Oh, that's his daddy.
Used to snort cocaine, now I fiend for the
Your lines are still open. Oh shit, you can get it, nigga. You wanna get it?
Used to snort cocaine, now I fiend for the check.
I think we OD'd. I think we OD'd.
My word, can't be my equal, I don't know what you heard.
That's the difference when you're my baby. That's how it is when you. That's the difference when you're my baby. That's how it is.
The Chinese platform, you already know they don't give a fuck about your black ass.
That's the difference when you're my baby.
The Chinese platform, you already know they don't give a fuck about your black ass.
That's the difference when you're my baby.
The Chinese platform, you already know they don't give a fuck about your black ass.
Get your hands off of me, shit!
Heavy, I'm a walking dead man, is what they call me when I come. Heavy, I'm a walking dead man, is what they call me when I come. Heavy, I'm a walking dead man, is what they call me when I come. I hit the loot juice, and pulls up in the dude. I hit the loot juice, and pulls up in the dude.
Like I said, you go to the history of European civilizations. 250 years is how long they last before they implode because of their greed, because of their violence, because of an inability to let others be, including themselves. If they didn't have brown and black people to hate, they would hate themselves.
And the fans, they're there for entertainment.
I hit the loot juice.
I just be shopping and shit. You know, drinking and shit. Do a little smoking and shit.
My bitches.
To the east, to the north, to the west, to the south, above, below, and the middle. To the east, to the north, to the west, to the south, above, below, and the center. This is Big Pontiac, and welcome to the Chocolate Mountain Show. I am the holder of the infinite sacred ball game that was created by the Hero Twins, and I am that one and only Galactic Daddy-O welcoming each and every one of you to my galactic patio that reaches from Minnesota to the universe. And that is my motherfucking cue to come on in and to do the show right, because I don't do the show but once a week anymore, where I used to do it nightly. And so, I kind of forget the way I was supposed to do it, but I'm definitely going to do it till I'm satisfied. And so, you know what the next step is. Tonight's beer is the one and only, the best beer they make in America, and believe me, I've drank them all, so I am a expert on beer. And as you predictably could predict, it is Elliott Nest by Great Lakes, made out of Grand Rapids, Michigan, baby. This is the best beer. So what do I say? Let's get this working. Pop them if you got them. And of course, I had to have my favorite glass, Killian's Barrel Glass. And look at that beautiful amber. Just look at that. Look at that beautiful amber. And you just look at this and you think about what you're doing right now. And you really wish you could be me right now. You wish you could be me holding this glass in this spot, sitting on this hill. And also, I'm a smoker, so let me tell you, I've had this since June. This motherfucker was damn near full. I don't know. Can you see? I still since June. I got all this left. It's probably a gram or two at least or more. I smoke this shit every day and it's still this much left. Tells you how long. I had 7 grams of that motherfucker. So I think this is ready. You see that light means it's ready. So smoke them if you want them. Woo! They say save the best. They say save the best for last. Oh, this has been a hell of a sports day. This has been a great day. I accomplished, let me say, yeah, it's been a great day. It's been a great day. Yeah, and today might really turn out to be a super day. So what do we talk about first? Let's talk about what happened earlier in the day. This was interesting. Oh, Coco, did y'all watch any of Coco Graf win? She lost the first set. She was down second set. Because I had just gotten the restaurant. She was down second set. She lost the first set. She was down 2-0 because where I was sitting was kind of far away, so it was hard. So when I got up, I was able to see kind of. So I think she was down the second set, and came back and won her first major. So I watched a lot of the tennis this weekend. So, it's now again, we know every sport is fixed, but you still look at the magnificence of the play. And like pickleball, I play so much pickleball. I look at the strokes they do, because you can tell. Now, I might still release a video, but I think they'll probably hit me. But you can tell when they don't want to score. You can tell. But you can tell athletic plays. Like that dude, the Spanish dude who's still ranked #1, the way he would jump in the air to hit a shot, he'd be floating one way, he would be floating to the left, and he would have his racket to the right, and he would still catch it and tap it in. I mean, it was just sweet play. She was, and the way on the clay they can kind of slide, or on that court, that court surface, excuse me. I love all sports, and even though there's a corruption as the holder, I still have to enjoy the athleticism, and so that was fun watching her play. Now, let's get into Colorado. Colorado, I did not think. Okay. Let me break it down like this. One thing you have to have when you're in the Big Ten is you got to have big linemen. But sometimes, and you have to have them on both sides of the ball. But you definitely got to have them big corn picking dudes that live somewhere they find them and all they do is just eat corn. And I don't know. These dudes be 6'5", 320 coming from the strangest places around here in Wisconsin and Michigan, Ohio. I mean, these dudes just be super big dudes. But a lot of times they don't have the quickness on speed teams. Now, if you looked at the adjustment that they made on defense, on offense, they didn't have to make a lot of adjustments because we already saw an offense that they could score on a team that had pretty good athletes. I mean, regardless what you think about TCU, they still had good athletes on defense, and they picked them apart. Now, today, what they did to that offense, I mean, again, the dude, look for big things out of that Nebraska quarterback because he's fumbled or thrown turnovers so often that they're going to reward him for that. He may struggle now, but you see they stuck with him and he ran that long 50-yard touchdown. That was a nice play. That 50-yard touchdown was real nice. But the adjustment they made on defense was really impressive. And I know dudes who don't watch football didn't even notice. They told you what they did before the game. They replaced the linebackers. That's what they told you. They replaced the middle linebackers in the game. And that made a huge difference. What was one dude's? I'm tripping on the numbers, and I probably should look up some highlights. But that was one thing you had to look at. They put those new linebackers in, and those linebackers made the difference in the game. Because they put pressure on that running mobile quarterback. They got, and the way you beat, and the way the Pac-10 used to always beat the Big Ten is speed on defense. Speed on defense against these big dudes who looking to run block. They're looking to run block. And the way you defeat that power is speed. And that's what they made a great defensive adjustment. And the defense adjustment they made this week to last week was monumental. And I think we can probably find some highlights. I don't know. They would want to hit me for they be wanting to hit me for the highlights. So I don't know. I'm fucking with their highlights, but here it is too. There it is right there. The defense, regardless of what you think about them, the defensive adjustments was terrific. It was terrific all day, and I'm not surprised. Dion being ex-DB. And strong side DB at that. He would be more of a strong side DB, or well, Dion, it didn't matter because they started moving him around. But and the pressure that they gave different looks. They really, I'm gonna say this. They do great film study. This group of people, you can just tell they do great film study because they took everything away. They used all their advantages to really take away the power that Nebraska was prepared to really run. They took that away by speed. Every time they tried to run them, pull them big slow linemen, they was right behind it, busting those plays up. So that was the great adjustment. Offense, we already knew that they could match with anybody offensively. I wasn't really worried about Nebraska defense. That wasn't gonna, to me, that I didn't see that as an advantage. But to stop Nebraska from running surprised me. That surprised me. So that was a really great game. Really, really great game. Watched a little bit. Let me see. Texas looked good. And that dude that sat Arch Manning down, Texas looked real good tonight. Texas matched them up. It was like, okay, Alabama could score on them, but Texas would come right back down and score, and Alabama couldn't match them. Intensity-wise, player-wise, they matched up. Player-wise, they matched up. That was a really, really good game as well. I was really disappointed. Texas put it on them, and Texas was really confident. Sarkisian, look out for Texas, because Texas and Alabama, again, all the top recruits, again, you put them in positions where they match with dudes just as good, you sometimes get outperformed, and they got outperformed. The team that disappointed me the most was really the Gophers in the first half. I think the game at halftime was 3-3. They just didn't get anything going. They're playing Eastern Michigan. So I was very disappointed by the Gophers. Very disappointed by the Gophers, but they end up blowing them out. The quarterback didn't take a great step up from last week. Receivers bailed him out. I don't know about the Gophers. So Notre Dame, the game was rained out. This is funny about Notre Dame game. Notre Dame game came on at 2, I think. And that game was still on 8 or 9 o'clock because of the rain delay. I kind of laughed because I've been moving around all day. I watched Iowa State. We was at a restaurant. We watched that game. Iowa, I thought Iowa's coach was getting suspended, and they didn't suspend him and all that gambling. And, I talked about this last night. The gambling, that's part of NILs. That's part of NILs. That's how they want to take it down was through the gambling. Who is in the house with a pimp tonight? Who is in the house with the pimp tonight? L Dragon, I'm Maroon Khan. What's happening? And I know to be up late this night, you got to have
vision.
Jamar 3224. And I know you got to have
vision.
Oh yeah, Coco played well. Fortunately I was moving around, and so I wasn't even thinking about. Well, yeah, I guess I did think about it a little earlier. It's because I was watching. Yeah, so I was trying to think where I was. Was I home? Yeah, I might have been home and just didn't turn the channel because I was watching the 4 screens. So if you got YouTube TV, they gave you the choice to watch 4 things at once. And so watching the 4 screens, when the Texas game came on, we wasn't here very long. We've been gone in and out all day. So we wasn't here very long, but I caught the Texas game, and Andrew McCarthy, they was interviewing him and shit. And it was earlier, but it was early. No, it was earlier when she played. So yeah, we've been gone, and I didn't realize when I was watching the 4 screens, because the 4 screens. Okay, yeah, that's what it is. When I was home before I left, they didn't. YouTube TV didn't have a tennis match on, and it wasn't until we was in the restaurant I realized the tennis match was on. So yeah, that's so. I was like watching. It was like on a TV. It was a pretty big restaurant. And I must say, every time I go in this restaurant, I feel so bad because one of my friends used to own this big, beautiful restaurant. And through COVID, he lost it. He couldn't keep it going. And it's funny. I mean, this restaurant this is a huge restaurant. And I feel bad that another people that moved in and they partnered with another established business for pizzas and shit. It's called Green Mill. Green Mill is a pizza restaurant up here. And so I feel bad going to that place. So I was watching the first 2-3 sets, and then we started moving again. And so we heard on satellite radio that she had won. Because they was interviewing the girl who lost first. But then it was like, well, she, you didn't do it this year. You came runner up because she lost, but she still is going to be ranked number 1, the girl that lost. So, but still shout out to her. So I watched a couple games. I watched a couple games, not as much as I've been watching. I've been watching quite a bit of it. So shout out to her. Watched a little racing today, and yeah, I have no problem. Now I was with a brother today. Say he bought the whole sports package. Now when he said he bought the sports package, I don't know if that's he bought like the NFL package, because NFL, like right now, to get the NFL package is $350. $350 to give you, if you got a favorite team, to see your favorite team. Is that worth it every week when we get 3 free games? We get 3 free games. Everybody gets 3 free games. So what? I don't see paying $350 to me doesn't seem worth it. Now I think with the sports package, you get baseball, you get the hockey, and you get, so I know I'm not sure. He said it was worth it what he paid. So I don't. You can. That's the option. I don't have all that. I'm gonna get the regular games because matter of fact, the Thursday night games are coming on. Paramount. I think that's what they showed is Thursday night is going to be on Paramount. You got to have Paramount to get the Thursday night games, which is NBC. But yeah, I have no problem with it. I have no problem with YouTube TV. We got, I mean, it's so much. It is so like when you cut off cable, it is so much more. It's like cable is so expensive, it makes no sense. Like my mother pays triple what we pay almost, and we have almost identical stuff that she has. I mean, what they had to do is they had to stop giving you a bunch of stupid shit. Like I don't have right now. I don't have 30 Spanish channels. I mean, my cable gave me 30 Spanish channels. I mean, they give you a lot. Now, still, all TV and all these movies, I don't like a lot of shit. I really don't. I really don't like a lot of movies and shit. I'm like really, that's why I'm a critic of that shit, because I don't like most movies. So like to sit home at TV and just watch movies, that shit is like, but sports all day. I watch any kind of games. I like that. Okay, I guess I'm blowing through all the material so fast. I guess we got to talk about the fights. If y'all missed that shit, y'all missed some shit tonight. That shit was Volkov, the heavyweight. I caught that it was going to be a heavyweight fight, and I thought it was I thought it was a championship, but it really was just ranked fighters. But Volkov fought Bam Bam. Man, Volkov looked good. I am like a historian, but I like the art of it too. I like the art of fighting. And I look at everything that how you respond. And it's like every time Bam Bam attacked Volkov, he countered. I mean, every single time he countered him. I mean, it was so sweet. Now, Bam kicked the shit out of his leg. He kicked the shit out of the dude's leg. But when he tried to, and Bam is known as a striker, every time if he went a kick, countered him with the left hand jab. It looked like he broke his nose in the first round, and they only fought 3. And he beat his ass. What, they stopped it? Was it second round? Second, or they stopped it in the third? He stopped it. It looked like he broke dude's nose in the first round. Volkov is nasty, and these heavyweights. So it was 6th ranked and 5th ranked. That's what they was. It was 5th and 6th ranked. But Volkov, he had a bunch of more fights. The other dude only had 15, 18 fights. Volkov had about 40 fights. So I thought maybe, he had more wear and tear, but he perfectly studied dude. Like every time because dude was shorter. Volkov is 6'7", dude 6'2". Every time he stroked, he countered him. It's just beautiful. It's like every time and the interesting thing is, granted, all sports are fixed, but sometimes they let you fight. It's just the way it is. It's like Mike Tyson and Buster Douglas. Sometimes you got to fight, and if you can't fight, you can get your ass whooped. But every time he just perfectly timed him. Other than getting kicked in the leg, he kicked the shit out of his leg. But other than that, when it went to striking, and then he got him in a hold. They call it the Jeffries hold. He got that nigga tapped out. Then they talk about the ref stopped it. No, the nigga tapped out because he had it. But his strikes, like it literally looked like he had broke his nose in the first round. Dude's shit was all pushed in. Maybe it was that pushed in and I didn't notice, but he was all bloody and shit. So that was a good fight. Now, if y'all, Adanya, if y'all didn't see that fight in Strickland, y'all missed it. Y'all really missed it. Y'all missed Strickland and Adanya. That was some good shit. Strickland, I would say I've never saw, Strickland is a white Joe Frazier. I'm telling you, Strickland is a white Joe Frazier. He is constant pressure. Like Aldana does, now again, I'll say this. This is what my girl said. My girl was like, that was fixed. That's what she said after the fight. That's what my girl said. I don't want, yes, they're all fixed. But parts of it, they do. And Strickland has got that Joe Frazier in him. Like, never back up, blocked everything. Like, blocked everything. I mean, other than kicks to the legs, he blocked all the high kicks. Like blocked most of the strikes. And he hit that nigga, and he hit Odanya with a straight right in the first round where I don't know how he took it without he ate it, but he didn't do it well. It was almost he lost the fight in the first round. And it was like after that, O'Danya really, you can't say he didn't do anything, but it was easily 4-1. 4-1. It was easily 4-1. That's how everybody, that's how I had it 4-1. I only gave O'Danya the second round. That was it. That's the only round you could give him was the second round. But he hit that nigga like a straight. But Strickland that nigga is Joe Frazier, a European Joe Frazier, because straight never backed up, Dude never, and he's been knocked out by people before, but this fight, that dude, he never backed out. He ate everything dude gave him. He ate it or blocked it. Like he's straight up. He blocked everything. And but that punch he hit him with in the first round, he was talking shit to him. He's like, "Why ain't you fighting me at the end of the fight?" He was like, "Why ain't you fighting? Fight." And O'Danya wasn't taking any chances. He had everything timed. Now, on the other hand, I'll say this is Strickland played a lot of defense. That's what lost him the second round. He didn't do nothing but play defense. Even the third and fourth, he was a more aggressive, but again, not dominantly aggressive. Not really. But to still win maybe 10-9, yeah, I would have gave him that. I would gave the third and fourth 10-9. I would have gave him that. O'Danya, again, wasn't as aggressive as he was in the second round. That was his most aggressive round. He tried to be aggressive in the third round, and then he just didn't stay with it. So you could even go third round even. But I don't know. I think Strickland, because Strickland played a lot of defense. That's my only argument with him. He played a lot of defense. But, I mean, he was in control in the fourth round. You couldn't say he wasn't in control in the fourth round. But it looked like it could have been fixed too. O'Danya been beat before. Both of them been beat before. So that just shows you. But Strickland was interesting in this fight. He really was. His defense was perfect. He perfect defense. And really, if you want to say he won the fight in the first round, he probably did. That first round punch was like that he tagged him. I mean, he buckled. He hit him and dude like buckled and fell. And he like tried to hammer punch him. So if you missed them there was two good fights. If y'all missed it, it was really two good fights. So yeah, I wanted to say that. So that's the end of what am I, like 34 minutes? That's all I had tonight. Last year the Thursday night games was on Prime. Yeah, I think that's what I saw. That they was gonna be on Paramount. So relook to see where you find it. But I got all that shit. So I got all that shit. So wherever it's on, I'm gonna see it on Thursday night. I'm not going to the game tomorrow. No, I'm watching this motherfucker here. I'm getting up about 10:30, make me some coffee, eat me some breakfast. And I got these cold ones on deck, and I'm smoking all day. I'm going to put my Viking jersey on. You know what, though? Really, I might get up and go play pickleball in the morning. That's what I'm thinking. I don't give a fuck what time I get done with here. I get up and get about 8 o'clock and shoot over there and go play pickleball. That's what I'm thinking about doing, too. Get me a workout then. So I ain't played but twice last week, so I'm probably not as sharp as I should be, but sharp enough because I play every week. But that's what I might do in the morning. So, but it was a fun day. It's some shit that's gonna pop off that's like mind blowing. What is it? Mind blowing decisions. Manifestation is a motherfucker. And when you ain't really got to beg, you just manifest it because it's like, wow. It's like you recognize something, you're like, hey, okay, this is gonna happen. And that's kind of how you do it. That's really kind of how you do it. You put your energy into something and you make it happen. You start seeing the possibilities of making it happen. That's imagination. Even imagination and making decisions is that's imagination. And that's how you apply it. And that's how you manifest. Because without any imagination, you can never manifest anything. Because if everything's just yes or no, you never think of the possibility of maybe. And if I try. So, yeah. So it was a beautiful day. I got to really hang with some beautiful brothers. It's not often. It's just usually just me and my brother-in-law. But tonight he brought in all his boys that he grew up with. So it's a beautiful thing, and you know me, I'm a nigga, so I blend with anybody. I call myself a ninja pimp because I can blend in with anybody. I can go with, I can just be around just Europeans and blend in, and I can be around just the hoodest niggas, and I'm just as hood as everybody. So I'm that guy. Chief 18 Wheels, thank you for joining me. And to be up this late, you definitely got to have
vision.
Oh, yeah. So that's, exciting day. I love college football. That's what I played. And so I always, and even before I played college football as a little boy, the first game, well, the first really game I went to, I saw Jim Brown play as a little boy. Deacon Jones, probably my all-time favorite defensive player, but, and Jim Brown, I got to see them play. I think I was 2. LA Coliseum. We had went to California, and my mother took me to a game. And vague memories of it. Remember, the plane ride going home, but vague memories of it. And so, but my first games was college games, going to Western Michigan University. And I've told this story before, and this is, you can look up who this dude is. Well, maybe we'll look him up together. It was only one person that scared me. And I think I looked this nigga up before. There's only one nigga that ever scared me. And let's see if I can find. I probably looked him up before. And I've told this story before. Well, let's just see. No, I ain't spelled his name right. Oh, okay. Ah, here he is. This is the only man in football that I saw personally ever scared me. Was this dude right here? This guy right here. He looked more like this. When I saw him, he looked closer to this. This is when he was younger. This cat went to Kent State, and for some reason I don't even remember why I was on the other side, but I was on the visitor side, and they had to walk through the crowd. Like the team, when they went to the locker room to go, through to the locker room, then to run to the stadium, they had to run through the crowd. Well, it was a point where it was just like me and him, like in the the under, in the where the concession stands, and in behind the stands and shit. It was just like, it was where he had came out, and it was like I had came out from the stands, and I was just standing like 3 or 4 feet from this nigga. And this is the scariest motherfucker. I mean, this dude, I think this picture I showed you previously, he didn't have teeth when he was younger. So this picture right here, he ain't have his teeth here. All right, when he looked more like this, he didn't have his teeth. But this nigga's about 6'4", 6'5". This was the scariest man I ever saw in football. Of all the years I played, I stood him in full uniform, and me being 11 or 12, this nigga scared the shit out of me. And this it's like no one else has. All the dudes I ever faced, I was never afraid of anybody. But this nigga, like, if I had in the back of my mind, if I played in the NFL and had to play against this nigga, it was like, it would have been a thought. Because this man, this man, look at this. He, this is old school as you get. They end up having, hand pads where they made like more gloves. But this is all like the old foam pads. This is all foam padding and tape. This is how tough you had to be. You talking about old dudes, and this is a neck roll because he's had some kind of neck injury. That's what this is called, a neck roll. You had a neck injury. This is all they can do, is give you this shit. And then they put this rag around it so the rubber don't irritate your skin. But look how his hands is all taped. These ain't even gloves. This is tape and pad. This is all tape and pad. Like, he's got elbow pads on both arms. Yeah, this is the only nigga that ever scared me. Nobody else. Nobody else scared me. But that dude did. Hey, Johnny Oggs, what's happening? And I know you got to have.
Got to have vision.
Do you agree with Kareem being the most NBA ready of all time? Nah. It was other dudes. Like I've said this before, the first cats, like I don't even think Magic, like I got to see Albert King play. I thought in high school Albert King was ready for the NBA more than Magic. And not to say that Magic wasn't ready, but I thought Albert King was more ready. The other dude I saw that was Felipe Lopez, he was ready too. Kareem, now I'll say this. It's like if people forget when Kareem was a freshman, you couldn't play varsity. And Kareem's freshman team dominated the team that won the national championship the year before. That was how they started the season. They played each other, and Kareem dominated. Like if you watch Kareem freshman year, all the dunks, he was so dominant that they banned dunks his rest of his 3 years because he was so dominant dunking. Now like and I'm gonna say another reason, no, because physically he was his body. Now Wilt would have, now I've said this before. Wilt was playing pro ball in junior high. I mean, the way the NBA and all the leagues was in the 40s when Wilt was in junior high, Wilt was playing pro ball in 7th, 8th grade, it appears. It appears in 7th, 8th grade, Wilt was playing pro ball. So Wilt was ready. And again, it was many different pro leagues. But the game was a lot more physical. And if you look at his frame, even as a freshman, that frame really wasn't ready to play against Wilt and Bill Russell and them. If he would have went right out of high school, Bill Russell would have been, like Kareem is what 66, 67 out of high school. Freshman year 66, so maybe Kareem graduated in 66. So yeah, he physically, no. Physically, I'll say no. He wasn't ready. He physically wasn't ready. And when we know dudes that did. Actually, the first dude that played out of high school was a European dude. As far as the NBA is going, it was a European dude that played in 40. What is the fourth league? They say 46, 47. It was a dude out of high school that played European cat. I imagine I looked him up. I'm too lazy to look him up, but you can look him up yourself. It was a European dude that out of high school in the 40s that came. So no, I don't think physically he could have did it. And remember Lewis Stokes that got flipped and had the brain, had the sleeping sickness. Maurice Stokes. I mean, he's 6'9", super big body, but still a dirty game and got undercut on purpose and flipped on his head. And it ended up giving him what they call the sleeping sickness, and it paralyzed him. So, and I know this is 58, 59, but we talking about 6, 7 years later. It was a much more physical game. So now, physically, I don't think so. I don't think physically. And remember, he didn't have a sky hook. He just was dunking on niggas. Like, watch his freshman. I should pull some of that shit up. Kareem as a freshman, man, every dunking, all of them, everybody. Now I don't know if they lost or went undefeated as a freshman, but you see, the only reason he lost to Alvin Hayes in the Metrodome is because he had got poked in the eye. You see what happened when they played him for the money. They wanted to have a celebration because that game they lost to the Metrodome. Well, that game was just a regular season game. But when Kareem played against him in the tournament, they put that foot in his ass, in the Big E's ass. Lorenzo, what is happening in the Mississippi? And I know you definitely got to have
vision.
So I don't know. I don't know if he physically. I would say even Wilt would have been more physically ready than Kareem. I just think physically, as his body wasn't. Even his freshman year, I don't think his body was. It was a much more physical game, and it would have taken him a year or two. But you know, as much as I say, you know, they took the dunk away from him, it helped him develop the other shots that we know that you can't, like what Shaq ended up doing. Shaq ended up having to sooner or later learn to develop other shots because you're not going to be able to just dunk on everybody forever. And even Dr. J, as you get older, you're not going to the basket like that forever. You got to have some other skills. So, but no, I don't think so. Now, is Kareem the best player of all time in college? He's the greatest winner, but we know Pistol Pete was the greatest scorer in college history, 44 a game, and if it was a three-point line, he'd average 56 a game. So, and he's the purest shooter of all time. And you know, I guess I should even break that down with Pistol Pete is Pistol Pete being a better shooter than Curry. I'm gonna say that before I break down who I think is the best proven shooter. Pistol Pete is a better shooter than Curry. Look at Curry's what he averaged in college, and look what Pistol Pete averaged in college. Pistol Pete averaged 44 a game without basket manipulation. So we could arguably say that Pistol Pete was a greater shooter in college than Curry. We can arguably say that, and I think Pistol Pete wins hands down. And we can probably even almost arguably say that Pistol Pete's pro games wasn't heavily basket manipulated, and Pistol Pete scored 60 something in the game, had a 60-point game in pros. And we could arguably say that if we match Pistol Pete up, and we can arguably say that Pistol Pete's 3 points, three pointers that he shot in his deep shots in the NBA. Again, he played in the era also before the 3-pointer. He might have only played a year or two with a 3-point shot. And I bet we could arguably say Pistol Pete was a better shooter than Curry if we look at it from the standpoint of who was helped with basket manipulation and how successful Pistol Pete was on not very good teams. We got to keep that in mind when we talk about Pistol Pete. He did not play on good teams. Let's keep that in mind. But I think we can arguably say he was a better shooter because most of his career was not pushed by basket manipulation. And should I look up his stats? I'm really too lazy to do all that. I bet we could look up his stats and see. I guess it would prove my argument a little better, but I'm too lazy to do that. Some of y'all want to do that. Y'all pull up his stats and you look up their two stats, and we know Pistol Pete did not have basket manipulation as a big factor in his career. Because if he would have had basket manipulation in his career, especially now we know he did not have it in college. He did not have it in college. I think we can agree that Pistol Pete did not definitely have basket manipulation in college. Because they did not have the skill to make as many shots as he made. They did not have that manipulation ability when Pistol Pete played. They could not manipulate every shot. He went to college, he's Jabbar age, 66, 67, 68, somewhere in there. And he averaged 44 a game without manipulating because they didn't have the technology to manipulate a whole game, every shot. Wasn't until 87 we see where they're able to manipulate a whole game. Georgetown, Villanova, 87. And whatever that year, Michael Jordan, when he hit the 7, that all those shots was manipulated. But I'm gonna say this: Pistol Pete was a better shooter than Steph Curry. And I'm just talking shit. I'm not gonna look up his stats. You want to look up his stats, but his stats are pretty decent. Again, he didn't play long with his career with a 3-point shot. Okay, let's look up his stats. Here we go. Let's look his up. That's not telling me. I just want his stats. Okay, maybe this will give it to me. All right, check this out. Check this out. Now, in your ass, all you motherfuckers, fuck you. Pete Maravich is a better shooter than Steph Curry. 44% field goal average without a manipulated. He averaged 24 points a game. 44 points. And let's see, how many 3 points? He only played, look at this shit. Look at this shit. He only played 3 seasons with a 3 points. Nigga shot 66%. 66%. You see that shit? 66% in the 2 seasons that he really played. Let me see. He played how many games? Let's get this. God damn. This nigga, listen. Okay. TOT, what is that? The fuck that? Okay. All right. Okay, he played 49 games. No. Who is he with here? Okay, let me. Okay. Oh, okay. These is playoffs, regular season, right here. Okay, so he only played 43 games of threes. All right. He only played 40, and so he shot. God damn. Look at this shit. Now, fuck y'all. Fuck y'all. Fuck Steph Curry. This nigga played 43 games. This nigga shot 80 free throws. Where's the other one? Okay. Here, right here. 44%. 44%. 3-point, 66%. 44% from the field, 66% from the 3 points in the 1 season that he played with a 3-point. He played half a season. Now, you think these games was manipulated? Half a season. And look what he finished with in his field goals. He wasn't a layup dude. He wasn't mid-range. And I'm going to say it right now. Pistol Pete is above Steph Curry. Field goal percentage. Look at this. Rookie year, 45%. What did he average? 36. Rookie shot 45%, average 36. Now, right here, 20. Yeah, right here. MP points per game. No, it's right here. Nah, right here. Points per game. Okay, 23. Yep, 23. Yep, he averaged 23. Excuse me. Minutes. This is minutes. I'm sorry. So he played 36 minutes. He averaged 23 as a rookie. Hardly 4 assists. This nigga shot 45% from the field. 45% from the field. No manipulated. Second season, he averaged 19. These was poor teams too. Poor teams. He shot 42%. Okay, he must have been hurt this season with Atlanta. No, he's still. He's still. Look at this again. 44%. Atlanta again, 38 minutes a game, 27 points per game right here. 27 points per game in his last year in Atlanta. And he shot 45%. All right. Look at him in 74, 75. First year in New Orleans, 21 points a game, shot 41%. Still played majority of the other minutes. We go to 75, 76. Look at this. 25 points a game. And he shot damn near 46%. All right. Next year, average 27. Not much fall off. Looks like he got hurt. Or this was, no, it was a strike season. I think he got hurt. Still, 44%. All right. 22%, 22 points a game last year in New Orleans. Oh, okay. I know what this is. Okay. All right. 42%. This is with Boston. He played 43 games with Boston. Yeah. And this is the Boston that Larry Bird, they lost. This is Larry Bird rookie year. And really, Pete should have played that next year because Pete would have made the team. And Pete didn't play, and Nate Archibald took his spot, and Nate Archibald won his only championship. But Red, they wanted Pete. So I'm going to say it right now. I'm going to tell you who the best all-time shooter is. And there's this argument. It's going to even, when I break down who the other dude is, and nobody sees this coming, who I'm going to break down is the other dude. But just him right here. I prove right here that Pete Maravich is better than Steph Curry. Because we can arguably say that his career was not overshadowed by basket manipulation. Because we don't, okay, right. In his whole career, up to then, they was only able to manipulate one shot. No, as a matter of fact, it's hard to find a lot of manipulated shots in big games through this period. Big games, other than right here, the Jerry West shot. So the Jerry West shot is right here, 1970, the Jerry West shot, right here. 1970, the Jerry West shot, manipulated shot from from damn near the other end. But I'm gonna say the majority of his career was not basket manipulated. He shot 44% from the field, and we see that if he would have been giving a bigger margin or more games of playing of 3-point shots, look at this, 66%. He played 43 games, which is a full college season and the playoffs, and he shot 66% without basket manipulation. So right now, Steph Curry falls down to number 3 because there's somebody better than Pete. I mean, it's just, I don't even know if really that dude is better. I'm going to take that back, but I'm going to just say, I'm going to give away. No, I'm not going to give away because I don't want somebody else to beat me to it. But Pete is better than Steph Curry, and this proves it right here. And his career wasn't marred by basket manipulation. And I'm just talking shit, and I found this just talking shit, but yeah, he's definitely better than Steph Curry. 44% from the field. Career. And he played on bad teams. All these teams sucked. Look at this. He only played in 26 playoff games. And he still shot well. Didn't score well, but he still shot well. So, yeah, he's better. Pete Maravich is a better shooter than Steph Curry. And I proved it. Because we know the technology for Steph Curry was available in high school, was definitely available in college. You cannot convince me that Steph Curry wasn't helped in college. He absolutely, positively was helped in college. And there's no question about the NBA. His whole career has been basket manipulation. Now, when I break down the other dude, y'all gonna be like, whoa. You can't, the dude who's the best scorer, it's no argument. His whole career he had no basket manipulation. Because his whole career, I can prove, it was only during his career, the only 2 shots was, again, Don Nelson shot, Bill Russell, or Don Nelson shot, Jerry West shot. It's another one that I ain't giving away because somebody will copy it if I tell. So I ain't gonna give that away. I found the first manipulated shot. I found it. It's one. I always thought it was Don Nelson. It was one before then. But again, they was only being able to control 1 shot a game. That's how the original technology was. They could control 1 shot a game. So it was 1 shot. No one else has found that. So I found the 1 shot. But it's one dude that shot, and he, again, those 3 other shots was when this other guy, I mean, it existed, but this guy, I can prove he is the best shooter of all time. I can prove it. And so I want to make it look neat and have everything together and all the layers and bring it out. But like right now with Pete Maravich, I could do the same argument with this guy that I could bring up. I could do the same argument, just bring up his stats and prove that he's a better shooter than Steph Curry. I could do this, but I want to show who the dude is, and I want to give him, I want to show him playing. I want to show the guy playing, and I just want to give a little more than what I'm giving Pete, because this guy ain't got as much publicity as Pete. I don't even think this dude's in the Hall of Fame. He should be, but I don't even think he's in. But he is proven, his career proves he's the best shooter of all time. And I've already knocked Steph Curry down to beyond this dude by Pete Maravich. I've proven that Pete Maravich is a better shooter than Steph Curry because he did not have basket manipulation behind him. So, yeah. How you like me now? Yeah, I was like, you don't have to look him up. Jordan Shrug game was in 92. Yeah, against the Blazers, right? Yeah. Worked and watched some college football games. Telling you, Alabama. Oh, definitely. Everybody's getting the players. Everybody's getting the players. And that's the key is, everybody being able to leave. Like I'm surprised the Manning boy didn't leave, but I think the other dude is gonna go in the draft. So the Manning boy would get, he get red shirted. So Nick Saban is giving back to the game. Hey, he got outplayed today. Sarkisian had some dudes to play, on both sides. I don't even, yeah, he is. Royal Bell. Let's see some Steph Curry college shots. Okay, but thank you for joining me.
Got to have vision.
That's a good. Let me see. I want to keep this, but okay. I don't want that. All right. Well, I kind of did, but yeah. Because he looks really small in college. Oh, here we go. It will bring. I don't need that. I don't need that. I want this though. All right. Steph Curry in college. Let's see if I can get some gameplay. All right, let's see if this is. All right, let's let it roll. I'm gonna show this first, and it's like, yeah. Man, if I can catch him, that tells it. His face tells it. But okay, here's one. Here's one. Fair use, if that even matters. That's a thing. All right. Okay, what do you think? What do you think? And look at the net. Okay. That's one. Can't let this play a lot. They'll get me. Oh, okay. That one looked better. Okay, let's replay that one. Let's replay that one. Let's replay that one. All right, right here. Let it play. Now let's let this play. Now, as you approach a shot, the success of a shot really depends on how square you can get up. And as we see, as he catches here, he's not square. And he's still even not really square here. And he's floating a little bit backwards. And all these factor into the shot. Now I can't. I've lost the ball. I've lost the ball. Now, given this vector right here, and the energy of him again, there's more success in a shot. There's more success in a shot if you land straight up. He's falling away. So the shot should be less successful and less energy because he's falling away. There's less energy in the shot if you shoot straight up. And again, from this vector right here, it seems like the energy he put in the ball was short. From this vector right here, to get the ball to this point, it appears like the ball should be short. From this vector, I'm saying going in and the energy that it's put here. You see? Do you see? Look at the vector here and then look at the energy. This ball, and I think you can see it here, this ball should be short. If we look at the vector, that's the drop. This is the vector, is the way the ball is going to drop. What angle, how this ball drops. And what we're seeing is this ball should be short because the energy that's naturally put here is short, again, because the person is not squared up. He's falling away. But that's not what we see, do we? We see acceleration. Acceleration. And I'll say this, I'll argue anyone, just because it swishes does not mean it's not manipulated. We've already proven that when we see the Jerry West shot. We see the net move slightly before the shot goes in. So you can go through more hours to see what you think. Oh, this is what I wanted to say. I'm switching subjects because I forgot it, and I want to say this. And we can talk about Steph Curry again. I want to say this before I forget. No, I'll write it down. I'll write it down so I won't forget. Yes. Where's your pen? Okay. Okay. I won't switch subjects. So that's my only argument about him. And as you go through his shots now, I would say this with players and watching. I think I've been a great judgment through my career. I've been able to see thousands of players, literally thousands of basketball players. And it is no doubt that the better talent you play against, you can play better. It's no doubt about that. I mean, that's the biggest thing about practicing with people in the NBA, especially playing with good players. You practice, when you go into camp, you have to play good with these people. So, not saying he's not talented, but I'm saying he was unnaturally helped like no other had been helped. That's my whole point. He has been helped like no other player has ever been helped. And even given the opportunity, if you look at him and his size, there's nothing special about him. Again, they thought it was his brother. His brother went to Duke. They really thought it was him. And this guy's afterthought. And I've said they've done a Mandela effect with him. Because in my experience, that team went to the Final Four. And that's what put him in the NBA. And now they say what? They won. What is it now? They lost in the Sweet 16. I vividly remember that this team made it to the Final Four. They lost their first game. They lost. But that he took the team to the Final Four. But now if you look it up, it says he only made the Sweet 16. So how did he get drafted so high, not having his stellar career at the College of Charleston? Again, not the greatest competition, a mid-major. And how does he get drafted in the first round? Because his team that Sweet 16. So, damn. What did he just say? Chris Jackson. Yes. Chris Jackson. I'll say, and this really brings back my hustling days, because I think I've told the story, when I moved back to Michigan, and I was peeping the hustling game. All my partners was hustling, but we all watched basketball and smoked weed and watched basketball. And I remember I was posted up, because I had a little more cane. My man was like, he's a weed seller, but I had the cane and shit, so motherfuckers, whatever they wanted, they kind of could get. But we would watch tons of ESPN games. And I remember the first time seeing when he was Chris Jackson, and keep in mind, I watched everybody else shoot. I watched Pete Maravich in college. His games was on enough where I got a wide. I watched a lot of Pete Maravich's game in college, and watched all great shooters, but none like him. None like him. People don't remember how dominant he was. It was like if he took 5 shots, he was making all 5. He was the first guy that really I saw at that point. And again, I saw Magic in high school. I saw Jay Vincent in high school. Martell Cleaves. I saw oh, it's so many more. But he was the first dude that could really score, that really scored every time and could do it 9, 10 times straight. Like we watched one time, like when I got to watching him play, I mean, one time I was just like, wow. And I kept track. And it's like he scored all 10 times, all 10 possessions. That's how efficient he was. And he really didn't like they was running alley oops with him his freshman year. Do y'all remember that? You know how you play zone, you can back pick that dude and run an ollie like that. You know, when they play in zone, it's a way you can send a dude around and he can get a back pick and he can get an ollie, you know, off that back pick. They was running them for him. And he was catching alleys and joking, but he was like the most efficient player that I'd ever watched play. I mean, really, he was the most efficient. And like I watched dudes that dominated and no one else touched the ball, but it wasn't like that. Like he would really take 2, 3 dribbles and take a good shot and score and fall back. Like his game, there was like his college game, there was nothing forced about it. Like he would come down and score, like literally he would come down and score 9 out of 10 times. I had never watched a dude like do that consistently. Like he was that consistent to score 9 out of 10 times coming down scoring. And none of the shots was bad shots. And like they wasn't really running a real set. I mean, he was just like come down, just be open and boom, hit. Come down, be open, boom, hit. And I don't even like he wasn't even running full fast breaks. It was like he would just kind of be, you know, a different speed than everybody, take a good shot, fall back. So yeah, I wouldn't doubt that if we looked up his stats, that he would be above Curry. There's just the artificialness about Curry. And his first NBA season, what is that, 14, 15? Come on, we look back at that season, that was ridiculous. I mean, that's just not believable. If anybody looks at that basketball and thinks that basketball was believable, and that's the same time, I've released this video on my other shot channel and this channel, and I had one where it showed, like they brag so much, but you could see like green. I had one, and this must have been from the 15-16 season, maybe 16 the summer. Yeah, because Prince had died, so it must have been 16. And I had taped one on my other channel. It showed the full rotation, the green shot, because it showed it from the basket like they like to brag about. It was showing the full rotation, and you see the rotation stop in midair, and the ball just go in. Now, what makes a ball stop rotating until it hits anything unless it's going through the net hitting something? No, this ball stopped rotating in the air, and it went in. So... And that's like, you really, you know, I'm sorry I don't have angles to show you about the shots, because Lobo does a great job of that. But that's what you have to look at. You have to really consider the way the person shoots and the energy put into the shot. And like this telling, you know, him saying he could just shoot and turn around, again, that takes away energy from the original thing. Now, I'm not saying trick shots are impossible, but consistently you can shoot and just turn in the air and go the other way. Give you a perfect example. I just shoot in the pool, and sometimes I do like this when I shoot my shot, and I can see I miss. Little things like that happen, and that you just that like, you know. And so that's that, you know. And I know I just blew up Chris Jackson, but Chris Jackson wasn't shooting these crazy deep shots. You know, Chris Jackson was mostly or Agmood, whatever. I'm sorry, I don't mean any disrespect. Please forgive me. It's more memory than Agmood. I think is how part of his name. So please, no disrespect. Just studying his game. His game did, but he does. Okay, let me clarify this. And I had to think about Zach. I had to think about the geometry guy, Zach, because Zach did show a video, and it's perfect. Chris Jackson says, "I will show you how to miss." He shows a video where he says, and so You got to consider that when we look at his career, because he surely says it. There's where he's in the gym and he says, this is how you, if you want to miss on purpose. And that's, he does. And Zach hit me to that. And I'd watched that before. I'd never paid attention to that part. But there's a video out there where Akbu Muhammad says, this is how you miss. You can miss on purpose. He's showing a workout and that he does it. He says, this is how you miss. So we know that he played in a minor era. But again, we can say that his 85, I think he was an 85, 86. And I don't think they were able to fully do a game. And again, a regular season game, it does not seem like the regular season control came till many years later. Because it seems like 87, Villanova, Georgetown is the first full control of every shot. And the technology-wise, if we look at the technology, that appears to be the ground zero. Even before the NBA, it seems that's ground zero. And as Lorenzo put, we know Michael Jordan's game was 92. And that was the first game we see nationally where they have ability to control every shot. Was Michael Jordan the shrug game. That's where we see the league change, and they have the ability to control majority of the shots. But in college, we see it in 87. We see it was like they was able to do one game. And even in the ABA, I'll take this back. In 92, it even appeared like, because he didn't shoot hot like that the rest of the games. And again, the way the script is put together, he probably didn't need to. Chris Mathers, what's happening? Matthews. Chris Matthews, thank you for joining.
Got to have vision.
Yeah, Mahmoud, he was a great shooter. I would say Mahmoud was a better shooter. I don't know. I don't know. I don't put Chris. I don't put Vince with him. I don't put Vince with him. He was a scorer. I don't really put him as a shooter. But longevity wise, great guy. Great guy. Hey, Jack Billions, what's happening?
Got to have vision.
It's Georgia now. Well, it's been Georgia the last 2 years. But he's getting, he that's why it's cool that the guys, come in and don't like their situation. They can move away from their situation. I guess the double transfers is where they're trying to hold people up. Because they held, it's the receiver I was reading about the other day. They held him up. I can't think of where was he playing, but it was one receiver. Some team is in Florida, maybe Miami, and dude was a double transfer, and he was trying to show that mental illness was the reason why he transferred. So I guess it's the double transfer. So maybe you can't transfer twice in a year. I don't know, but it seems like that's the only. But getting in the porthole you don't like when school starts. That's what most dudes was doing when they didn't start. Like if you wasn't the starter, you transferred out. It's just that simple. You ain't starting, you transfer out. So, North Carolina receiver Walker. Yeah, okay, yeah. Walker said he went there. He had the mental tried to go under the umbrella of mental health, and they set him out. So I don't know if he's ineligible forever but they ain't letting him play this year. And football, that age hurts you. You want to go into the NFL as long as possible. But another part I want to talk about is kind of cool is like looking at what Bronny James has done. And of course everybody doesn't have the opportunity that he had to be in 2-3 major commercials, but he's made $7 million going into as a freshman, and this is great. This is the greatest thing that ever happened. And despite the fact who his father was, that this potentially you can make this money in high school. There's a potential if you do the right thing. You catch the right thing, it's like you can go viral in high school and you can make the money in high school. And that's a beautiful thing because so many of us got beat up in high school. Now, we've had a number of young men that have, CTE and committed suicide in high school, early college. So it's only fair that we make money off ourselves as soon as possible. And that's what's been happening in Europe. I mean, they don't have high school. They have leagues where they get paid stipends and they get paid in high school. And so that's a great thing. And you have to be from a very narrow mind to think it's not. Because they've been doing it. I mean, it's like they want to go after these teams, give SMU the death penalty, but this has been going on, and I've said it forever. You know, look at the movies. The movies tell you Horse Feathers and the Three Stooges. But Horse Feathers is the main one. They show you the crookedness of sports even back then, and it didn't really change. I mean, what did Marcus Dupree say? He got a trailer to go to Oklahoma. Should have got a house. But you know, his mama wanted a trailer, so she wanted a double wide. He got her a double wide. And so now that the young men have the opportunity, you know, you find your thing that you can push to make that opportunity, whatever that is, whatever glitch you can find to push yourself forward with it. It's great. And this is what's going to, you know, the colleges are aligning where there's going to be different divisions. It's no way they're going to get away. The three major colleges, the surviving conferences are all going to be one separate division. I mean, it's no way they're going to not, because people aren't going to keep believing that everybody can get into it. We know that's not realistic. So that's what they're aligning all these conferences to do, to have a super conference that has this championship. And then what it appears like, they're going to let the rest of the mid-majors, because the mid-majors, a lot of the mid-major conference are pretty solid. And just as we have a division, 1A now, and we have a division 1, we're going to have that mid-major division, what it appears like. I don't see how they're going to still say that these other conferences, everybody leaving is going to be there to participate and get the TV money. I mean, a lot of the contracts, like they say now, the Pac-10 is going to get something like 52 units, which I'm not sure if that's games, but it amounts to millions of dollars. And they're saying they don't want the other schools to be able to have a vote on who gets this bread. But that only comes from contracts wrote from years past. Now, you know, them contracts are going to dry up in the next couple years. So they may get that this year, but the Pac-10 is about to disappear. But it's going to be fair, and it's going to generate more interest for these players. Because again, it's going to be packaged because this is what is going to make it successful. Is the fan base for mid-majors is there. You already have a great fan base. So why keep lying to the public and saying these teams have a chance when we know realistically they don't? And let these other schools have something great, but you, just as it shows, and people forget Division 1 and Division 2, their championships are televised. And so this is just another division that they could open up and have a lot of excitement. And that's the way you could utilize the bowls. If you want to utilize the bowls that way. I always thought it should have been a playoff. The bowls should have been a truly playoff. You utilize all them bowls as everybody come into playoffs. But obviously it's too late to that point. Because that's what you really should have done. Is you would have avoided all this. If you would have had a better playoff system years ago, they would have avoided them leaving these different conferences. Because it would have been a more realistic thing. So, Davidson made it to the Elite Eight sophomore year back in 2008. The Final Four team year was Kansas, National, Memphis, UCLA, and North Carolina. Memphis. Yes. So they made it. Yeah. They made it an 8. Yeah, they changed it. Yeah, they changed it. They changed that. He made it to not the Elite Eight. He made it to the Final Four. And I say this in all sincerity. He made it to the Final Four in my reality. He really did, and that's why he got drafted high, not the Elite Eight. But that's interesting because it's not even. And I'm gonna tell you why I'm not gonna budge on it. Because I remember like them being at the Final Four and them showing footage of them being there and I remember the game they played and they lost. They lost their first game. They got blowed out. They lost their first game, possibly one of those 4 teams, but they got blowed out. But I remember them showing coverage of him just being down there and stuff, and then talking about this because you know the way they before the games they hype up the Final Four teams and they showed his ride and stuff, and then showed him down there. So I remember all that him being down there, and so that is truly when we talk about what they call the Mandela effect. That is truly a Mandela effect. But I got another one. I got another one too. So is that a So yeah. The Power 3 conferences are going to be SEC, Big 10, and Big 12. What you're saying is they're going to remove themselves from the NCAA, from their own league. No, they'll still be under the NCAA, but they'll be their own league, and they'll have better funding because it's only going to make it fair. I mean, they're going to have better funding. So why play the game of saying all these other schools are going to be as funded as well? And again, the more popular your sport, your brand is, because you have all these teams, that's a great thing. Because people forget Division I championships, college Division I championship and playoffs are generally on TV. Division II too, or 1A, whatever it's called. They're televised. I don't know if y'all follow football like that, but they're televised as well. And these guys get pulled from all these leagues. So it's the more the better. The more the better. The more the better. And this is the other problem is, okay, these guys in this top league are going to make so much money. This is the money they make. All right? There's going to be a different amount of money made on every level because every level should make money. All the players at every level, because don't think because they go to small private schools. No, every level they should make money. Right now you're saying they have the ability, but it should be just as much marketing for these all the other colleges. Should be just as much marketing for them too. And remember, they're going to stay like Notre Dame basketball wise. They're going to stay in the ACC. It's just the bigger programs. They're bigger football programs. So, I remember they making it to the Elite Eight. You probably be talking about Derrick Rose when he was at Memphis and they made it to the national championship and lost. Nah. I remember that one too. Nah, nope. No, not the Elite Eight. He made it all the way. I remember watching the game and they got blowed out. I remember watching the game and they got blowed out. And I really think that is a Mandela effect with him. Because it's like the Lakers now, it's 33 games and it was 32. And my college teammates call me ESPN because I paid attention to these stats. I wish I'd have kept some of them old books with old stats and stuff. But that was just my reality, that's all, What it made it Elite Eight, okay, that was the energy that put him into the league. Curry in 10. But it's entertainment. That's all. But that's what I think is going to happen in football. I definitely think that's what's going to happen in football. It's just no way to avoid it, because like people forget even Deion. They're in a bigger conference. Even Deion got in, where he's in a good conference. Yeah. 2010 was Curry. Okay. 2010. Okay. But I don't know. I pondered that. I pondered that as I came across that. You said the Elite Eight. Okay, as I came across that, that's what made me even ponder it. I was like, wait a minute. I was like, no, I remember them making it to the Final Four. So no, I remember Derrick Rose and them because him and Douglas, what was his name? Douglas something, missed them free throws. That was the game where they missed. They had it. Memphis had the game. All they had to do is Derrick Rose had a chance to seal the game off, and that Douglas, whatever his name, he played in Charlotte. But remember that they could have won that game. So I remember that game with Derrick Rose and Kansas beating them, but they had the game. Free throws, they could have won the game with free throws. Kansas, or Memphis State had the game with free throws. Free throws, they had the game and they blew it. So those crazy, all this money for those programs. Yep. They made a Cinderella story because Davidson was like the 13th story, but that Cinderella story by Curry got him the NBA. You know, yeah, oh yeah, absolutely, yeah, and all that. And I remember that in my reality too. They made it Cinderella, yeah, actually, yeah. Because like right now I can see like you say the Cinderella thing, like he's walking, like this is what I'm telling you. Like right now I can really picture where he's wearing like a jacket and he had like a little beanie on, and yeah, it was probably the Cinderella kind of thing, and they was just kind of hyping him up at the Final Four. So that was kind of like what I remember. But either way, he's made it to where he's at now. So, but let me tell you, since we're talking about, and maybe I've misread, but I don't think so. This goes right with it. So Prince's song is called, right now it's called Little Red Corvette. Okay. Right now, Prince's song is called Little Red Corvette. Isn't it? Let's look it up. Yeah. All right. I ain't gonna play this shit. But I will show you that this is true. Right here it says Little Red Corvette. All right. Little Red Corvette. All right. Now this is some straight up. This is straight up Mandela shit. You know what? In my reality, the song said, and I had to really think hard about this. I really had to think hard about this. I had to really think hard because I kind of have somewhat of I have almost a photographic memory. I can remember, yeah, most details of a lot of shit. I'm 62, but I remember a lot of shit. But to me, in my reality, this shit was called Little Red Corvair, not Corvette. Corvair. You know, the Corvair was like, well, let's look it up. Let's look it up here. No, where'd it go? Where'd it go? And you know, I was like, I don't know. This is oh, gotta be here. Let me see if I can find this shit. Okay. Let me see if I can find this shit. Yeah, there it is. All right. Now, if y'all want to laugh, here's a laugh. In my reality, the song is talking about this car right here. Little Red Corvair. This was a joint venture with GM and Porsche. This is a copy of a Porsche. This is rear engine. The engine's back here. This is hood. There's nothing in it. This is a rear engine car. And so in my reality, this song is about this car, Little Red Corvair. And this is some Mandela shit like a motherfucker, because I'm telling you, it was Little Red Corvair, this car with the rear engine. And what did this shit say right here? This shit says Little Red Corvette. Now, I don't know, y'all. My reality says Corvair, not Corvette. So this is one they changed. I think they changed that shit. It's a prime example of they're not letting them mid-major schools with national championship. The only school they would let win is UConn. I I'll say we got to say I don't know who brought that up, but we were saying this before. But UNLV too, they let UNLV win, and Arkansas. They let UNLV win in Arkansas. But you know what's fucked up about Arkansas is they buried Scotty Graham. You know, Scotty Graham hit the shot. Remember, Chambers hit the shot. Rosen and missed layups. Chambers hit the shot. He get in the league. Dude hit the shot for Arkansas. Scotty Graham, I think that was his name. This nigga like got drafted by the NBA and cut in camp. Nigga went in the G League. I think when the G League started, got cut. Like, this dude disappeared. Like, he hits the J to win the national championship for Arkansas, and like this dude disappears. Like you think he never hooped before anyway, the way he's getting pushed around and pushed out. So, but yeah, I would say you had to say Arkansas and UNLV, especially UNLV. I'll say you had to add them too. My watch died. I don't even know. I didn't even do shit today. This motherfucker died. Oh, we almost swam tonight. My brother-in-law, because we watched the fights at his place. I love, hey, his fire stick wasn't working. He called his guy up like, hey, this motherfucker ain't working. His guy came over there, brought his woman, fixed the shit so we could watch the motherfucking fight. And then he had, we brought a bunch of food and shit. So him and his woman sitting there eating. I'm like, right on. I'm like, right the fuck on. I'm glad I know somebody I can call and say, hey, my fire stick ain't working. Come fix this shit. And I have to say, just being around brothers, the only brother I brought him around, my brother-in-law is my best friend. So it was cool. And I met some of his friends before, but it's cool being around brothers because I don't get that a lot. It's not a lot of us around, so I don't get that a lot. So all of us is there, we just we're getting our geek on. What did they used to say to my boy? I don't even know if I can get this one to do it. And I remember Curdy lit his cigarette and Curdy forgot because Curdy was a crackhead, but Curdy was smoking the square. This shit was like this. And his girl's like, why you got your lighter so high? And he said, he didn't change his face. He said, for when I get my geek on. That nigga said that shit. And like me and my boy E was just, that shit just killed because this is who the nigga was. I've said before, I used to get that nigga clothes. I'm like, Curdy, I got some clothes I want to get you, but I don't know if they're gonna fit you. He's like, it don't matter. Just bring that shit over and give it to me. I'll work with it. So that was my guy. When he said that shit, I never forgot that. He's like, why you got your lighter so high? For when I get my geek on. I'll never forget that kind of shit. Arkansas is the SEC. Yeah, UNLV, they was 33 years ago. Yeah, UNLV. Yeah. I'll say that's and again, we not counting in the modern age of Loyola. Loyola won it. Texas El Paso, they won it. We ain't really counting them. Cincinnati won it. This how dirty they did Oscar Robertson. They lost when he went to the championship, but they won it the year after he left. With basically the same team, but just him in the pros. That's how dirty they did him. Oh, no, the thing about Nolan Richardson, yeah. Oh, yeah. I think that's probably why Scotty Graham got punished. Yeah, it could be too. Yep. A black coach winning. Yeah. Well, same with Tubby. And I've said this before. Kenyon Murray should have been on that championship team that Tubby won because we all thought Kenyon was going to Kentucky. He had went to camp with Tubby for a couple seasons, so everybody knew he was going to that Tennessee team, that Kentucky team. Excuse me. This nigga goes to Iowa. Monterre. He went with Monterre from Albion. Monterre was one of my guys too. I think I'm friends with him, Monterre, on Facebook. I was like, I know that nigga too, because I used to ref some games for him in Albion when he quit playing at Iowa. But him and Kenyon went Monterre. What is Monterre? I can't think of his name, but he was a hooper. But yeah, he went to Iowa and never came into anything. And we look at it, it was probably meant for him not to, so his sons could go into the NBA. We got Kenyon Murray, Chris Murray, and Keegan Murray are his sons, his twin sons. And so they went to junior college. They didn't go straight to Iowa. They wasn't as tall. Them mugs kept growing. They was about 6'6" when they graduated. Now what? 169, 168.5. Before they went to Iowa, they went to junior college first. You know, it's one of my guys. Kenyon's one of my guys. I mean, we had one of my favorite Mackers is with him. We didn't win it, but like sometimes, like Rosie Perez says, sometimes when you lose, you win. Because we lost the championship. We made it to the championship, but we lost the championship. But when we played the Macker, like I got a trophy, maybe like maybe I don't know, you can see the shiny. I got one of the few Macker trophies I got. But when you got second place, you got a trophy just like first place. Like they used to give out big ass trophies like this with the Macker on it, but then they just started giving out plaques. So you got for winning it, you got a trophy and a plaque. And we fucking so we lost. So we got what the first place people got. We got a trophy to plaque where they gave a team sportsmanship award. We got another motherfucking plaque and more trophies. Like I don't know if you can see the little one. So even though we lost, we come out of there with and it was my team. Matter of fact, I had got somebody to sponsor me. I got a car wash to sponsor me, and I come out of there with 2 plaques and 2 trophies. And we didn't even win the championship. But that's what they say. Sometime when you lose, you do still win. They did the same thing with Hakeem and Clyde. They went back-to-back national games and lost, both of them, but made it 11 years later to the NBA. I would say, yeah. They gave Hakeem his 2 for losing. Yeah. Cause that shit was so bogus. What they did, those were 2 of my guys, Sidney Lowe and Derek Wittenberg. I met them in college, 2 fun dudes, and I was pulling for them. And again, I'm caught into the fix. I didn't, wasn't. Now I take that back. Ever since 76, when Dr. J lost to Bill Walton, I always thought games was fixed. So I always looked at games sideways, but I got caught in the emotion of North Carolina State taking down Ralph Sampson and 83. And this is Michael Jordan the year before. And so, like they did like, this is how bogus. If you think about this, when Ralph Sampson when was in the ACC, this is how bogus they did him after his first year. They put the 3-point shot inside the free throw line. The 3-point shot was closer than a free throw. I'm talking about the top of the key. It was like 16 feet? That's 16 feet. And Derek Wittenberg would kill that shit. He broke his foot early in the season, but before he broke his foot, they beat Georgetown. I think they beat Virginia before he broke his foot. Because that's short. That was their way of trying to battle Ralph Sampson, was put the free throw, 3-point line way in. And that helped North Carolina State, which really wasn't a great team, because Worthy was at Carolina back then, too. So that was a good team, but the way they let what was the announcer? What is the announcer's name? That grabbed Clyde Drexler's legs. Like Clyde Drexler goes up for a layup, and the dude grabs him by the legs and falls down, and this European ref calls the charge. He clearly, you see him, Clyde Drexler jumps up in the air. Gannon, he was a Gannon. Dude was a Gannon. He's an announcer now for North Carolina State, I think. But he grabs him around the legs and falls backwards. And so both leagues, they did that both years. They tried to, the second year, they got Hakeem, and Kai Drexler had 3 fouls in the first half, and you only had 5. Remember that. When that Gannon dude grabbed his legs and fell backwards, that was his 3rd foul. The next year, they give Hakeem 3 fouls in the first half when they lost to Georgetown. So, there is my main man, PJ Allen. And I know PJ Allen always controls his...
My bitches. You saying you can't control your bitches? What?
And he definitely has.
Got to have vision.
Oh, saw so many fixes today that I started watching the prelims for UFC. Now I was outside because what was cool, it was a beautiful day here. It was really beautiful. I didn't work out, I didn't do shit today, but it was a beautiful day nonetheless. And we was all sitting on the, we could have went swimming. we could have went swimming because they turned the pool on because it was only shit. What is it? It's been like this 60 right now, so imagine what is it 2 in the morning? Shit, 60. It was yeah, so it's like maybe 64, 65, but they heated the pool up. And I mean the pool, I put my hand in it. It was warm. It was warm. Now I didn't go in how deep, but on top felt warm. So a couple of days of them having the heater on, that'd be cool. They say it's expensive, so I don't know. But tomorrow I'm just sitting here watching the Vikings and the other teams. The Vikings, I watch free football. If that's all I get 3 games. And the games where it's double headers, they put them on the screen where you can watch them both on the same screen. So I'm with that. I'm definitely with that. I know what you're talking about. He told the story on 30-30 about North Carolina State team. Yeah. No, it's not Rich Gannon, but his name was Gannon. He's an announcer. He's around my age, because them cats my age, man. It's funny, like I was living in a room smaller than this, and them niggas was living like they had townhouses. But when I was a freshman, I've told this story before. Hawkeye Whitney and Clyde the Glide Austin. Hawkeye Whitney played for Atlanta, and Clyde the Glide played for the Globetrotters. He played for the Globetrotters. But when I met him as a freshman, and them niggas was seniors, them niggas was driving Sevilles. Both them niggas had Sevilles. I went to a party and them niggas was there. They had the Sevilles backed up. So them niggas, And when I met Cindy Lowe and Wittenberg, them niggas had townhouses like by themselves. Like, they didn't live together. They had townhouses like by themselves and shit. So they was doing well. Compared to the way I was living. Yeah, oh yeah. The weather's been mild. Weather's been real nice. As I said, up here I didn't play pickleball Wednesday because up here it was windy, and the day before was really windy. But they said down there because I play pickleball about 10 miles away, I guess. But I live like up on a hill, like it ain't no mountains and shit, but it's a hill. Like when I go off the hill, you can see like down into the valley where I gotta go. It's like I can see. It's kind of cool, I can see where I gotta go. It's like when we're on top. It's what it was at 42nd and 5. When I turn on to 42nd, you can see. It's just clear, like just a straight shot. Like it's like one left, right, and the left. So yeah, no, the weather's been beautiful for football. The Gophers was here, and it's beautiful weather. All the high school games, but the Gophers was here. I think my nephew went to St. Thomas. I think St. Thomas is Division III, so I think the shit because I think one of these Division III schools was kicking ass so much they made him go to Division II, and I don't know if it's St. Thomas or St. Catherine's or St. Thomas. One of them has been dominating Division III, where they was like, y'all too good, you got to go up. So one of them, they bumped them up to Division II. And that's like, people forget Boise State. Boise State was in Division II and was dominating, and so they went to Division I. But if I remember right, Boise State, I think, was at one time Division II football. So I'm not sure, but that's what, if I remember that right. Yeah. But hell, I don't even remember Prince talking about Little Red Corvette. That shit don't even sound right when I'm listening to it. It doesn't even sound right. It's like, that shit ain't right. Shotgun revolver. I don't think I'm gonna talk about the debauchery tonight because I don't really care about any. This is a day of sports. Oh damn, I've been talking that long? Okay. Fuck. God damn, I've been talking motherfucker tonight. Oh, Jeffrey, what's happening? And I know you got to have
vision.
Yeah, well, I was saying the game I was like joking Notre Dame because I started with like if you have YouTube TV, you can turn it to where you get 4 games at one time or 4 events at one time. But when it's games, it's mostly games. So it's just like the first ones. Sometimes it'd be baseball, but later they added baseball. But when I was home earlier, it was just all forced football, and the game was supposed to be North Carolina State and Notre Dame. And they did end up playing, but I remember like I was going over to my brother-in-law's and the game wasn't over. And that game was like I don't think it was that game might have been a noon game. Now I think about it, that game was probably a noon game too. And that game didn't come on until about 3 or 4, somewhere later. It was much later. But I remember I was like, okay, because of the storm, North Carolina. When I lived in Greensboro, like we had, I'll say like one thing of living in Greensboro, we were affected by the monsoon season. I ain't saying hurricane, but we was definitely affected by a type of, it appeared like monsoon. I lived down there 7 years, and like it was a period late August, early September, we get a rainy where it rained, we get a lot of rain. I mean, when I worked for the water department, we didn't work when it rained. Like if any kind of rain, we ain't work. I mean, we literally did not work. Didn't have to go out unless it was emergency. And so that it was like this for years. I worked for the water department for 3 years. 3 years, it was like if it rained, we ain't do shit. We couldn't leave, but we ain't have to do shit. Like if a pipe broke or some shit like that, or somebody had to back up and they thought it was our stuff, then we had emergency, yeah. And I worked out in that shit emergency too, where it's storming and shit, and we fucking in a hole and trying to patch some shit up, cut the bad line out and put the new line in, and the shit is wet all around you. I have experienced that, but for the most part, we didn't do shit. Nick Saban is now 23-9 against his former assistant, Alabama's 31 in gematria. Oh, good work. Bruce Lee is about to kick ass. Yeah, Bruce Lee. Yeah, Saban. And it's funny. Saban has almost, I don't know. I was just looking at Saban's statue, living statue while you coach. And then we look at what they did to the dude up in Pennsylvania. And it's like, is that really good? Because the dude up in Pennsylvania, they had his statue up there too while he was still coaching, but they've been trying to get him out. And, they used, what was his name? Jerry Sandusky or whatever the fuck he was doing. I had some funny jokes about that shit too. I used to have a joke where, when a brother, like if it was a brother janitor saw a older man abusing a young boy, he would have went and whooped his ass, But the European dude that saw the boy being abused did not whip his ass. So, B. Brown, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Got to have vision.
Thank you very much. That is so kind of you. Nothing like a late night. Well, thank you. That is so kind of you. Yeah, Joe Paterno. Yes, Joe Paterno. Joe Paterno, definitely. And so I don't know if that's a good thing. I don't know. I look at that as let's say for that nice contributing to the show. Let me see how this turned out. Oh. Your shit. Oh, not that one. Not that one. I'm going the wrong way. Well, let's go through all of them. Let's see. I want to play this vibe. I want everybody to hear this vibe. This vibe is so good. Right here. I want everybody to vibe on this. I'll be trying to put these vibes in, but this vibe is pretty good.
Well. Gotta get a piece.
That ain't it either. I don't know that. Well.
Gotta get a piece of mind. Sometimes I feel like I just wanna get away.
Oh, that hits kind of hard. Oh, okay, it took me a minute. I love that guy. Let's hear that vibe again.
Well. Gotta get a piece of mind.
She's She's got to get a peace of mind, baby. Well. So I thank you. That's for that beautiful donation. I had to get his vibration out.
Well. Gotta get a peace of mind.
She got to get a peace of mind. So thank you for the contribution to this show. I appreciate it. That is so kind of you. But yeah, this is the one night where I can just hang out, and tomorrow, I don't have to go play pickleball, and if I'm too lazy, I will be too lazy, and I'll play Monday morning, because outdoor season is slowly coming away too, so I'm going to take advantage of it as long as it's here, because I like staying in shape. I like, I don't mind getting my geek on the weekend. And it's funny, like, they got together, they had some weed, and I wish I hate I didn't bring any weed and shit. But I'll say this, like they had joints. You can't smoke joints outside. Blunts have won, they outside. If you smoke weed outside, you gotta have a blunt. The joint paper burns way too fast, and I don't care how fat your joint is. It's just outside you smoke blunts because it burns slower. And so they was burning their joints up. So while I was doing just edibles. And I gotta get a little mini thing, and this is really not too big to bring around, but it's kind of look fiendish. You go somewhere and show up with your magic unicorn Luca. You just don't go places showing up with this and shit. You're in the corner. They're like, well, them niggas kind of strange. He be like, hey, be like, don't say shit. Be like, ooh, off into your own realm and shit. Be around people. They be like, hey, are you okay over there? So you don't go places with your unicorn Luke. But sometimes I wish I would have had it when I was swimming, I must admit. Oh my goodness. Well, life can just be fun. It can be fun too. And it's funny. Like now, this is let's say this: football is a religion. Football is a religion, and football has replaced religion on Sundays. I mean, churches they quit fighting the NFL a long time ago. I lived through where the churches tried to fight, and the men won. The men clearly won. And it got to the point where churches would be out. Even like my aunt with them was Pentecostal, and my grandmother. But my grandfather, he had nothing to do with it. He Sunday football. And I'm like, I'm with him. My grandma's like, you going to church? I'm with him. That's all I would say. Because my grandmother then would stay at church all day. Like they would be at their church, eat breakfast or lunch, and then they would go to other churches to go eat dinner. They're like, oh, we going to so-and-so to go eat dinner. And Sunday would literally be drive around from church to church. Yeah, I'm with him. he picking apples or something. I'm helping him out. I would quit going to that shit. I wasn't going there. And Pentecostal, they'll break down on you. You sit next to somebody and they'll be like, wow, sunshine, sunshine. They had the Holy Ghost. And and I hate to bust people out, but I have seen people that really it went in them. I have that ability. I as a child, it was amazing when the spirit would go into people. That is amazing. But it was a bunch of fakers where nothing went in them and they just all out. And we used to bet. We actually used to bet. We'd sit in the back. We used to bet like Sister Mary. Because this is interesting. People sit in the same pews it's like when you pay your tithes, you can sit in the same pew. If you sit there, you pay. That's where you sit. You understand? That's how church works. You can sit where you pay your tithes and everything, and you're paying for that seat. And so people sat in the same places. I'm just telling you, people sat in the same places. And if we could time out who would like we would time 2 or 3 people who would bust out first. Because Pentecostals, again, they straight up, it's nurses in there. It's like the nurses be, in the nurses suit, the ushers, I guess you call them, they had the Mason white gloves on, but they have nurse outfits on. And this is how Pentecostal my grandmother's church was. They had nurses' outfits on. I remember my dad was like, when my grandmother died, my son saw one of the nurses ladies. My son was like, Grandma's dead already, Dad. What do they need the nurses for? And he's like, what are they going to do? Grandma's dead. What are they going to do? I'm like, well, if people get happy in here, they might have to help them. And he's like, he looked at me kind of confused. He's like, well, what is get happy? I said, well, if it happens, son, I would point it out to you. He's like, is that fair? He's like, that's fair. And sadly, in that event, no one got happy when my grandmother died. Nobody busted out. But when I was a boy, it was always a show. Especially I was getting high. You know, I'd get high and go to church to see who would get happy first. And you know, when I was young, would go to church and could see this shit. I mean, really start seeing shit and see who that shit gets into. I mean, it was really fascinating to me to see who was faking and shit, and even to see if any of that energy was given to the preacher and shit, just to see if that energy was in there. Once, you know, I started getting high, where as a young boy, I was able to, you know, perceive a lot of this shit. And so it was funny seeing the fakers. It was funny seeing the fakers. But it was definitely entertaining. Definitely entertaining. Friday on the Holy Ghost is crazy. Oh, definitely. Bet. Oh yeah. I wish people would go back, backflips and shit. It wasn't that bad, but I mean, it like now I'll tell you, my cousin, where I lived in Battle Creek, one of my cousins, and this is, like the full story is one of my cousins actually became my neighbor, and I didn't really, the full story, and this is sad. Like I didn't meet him. Yeah, I guess the full story is my cousin lived like next to me, like 2 houses away. He lived on the corner. I lived like on the corner of the alley, and he like our alleys. Nah, they didn't live on the alley. Where their house on the corner wasn't on the alley, but he got killed in a car crash, and um, and I don't forgot my thought of why I was bringing this up, but. Yeah, I forgot why I was talking about them niggas. So I'm gonna move on. I'm stuck while I was even talking about it. If it comes back, if the Motivite bring me my memory back, I'll bring it back. And my Aunt Esther's voice, Big P, ain't nothing but a heathen. Definitely. I was trying to. Why was I talking about my cousin? I forget. But he lived next door to me, and he got killed like in a car accident, like blocks away. Like really in the wintertime. He got killed in a car accident like blocks away. And it's like, so his family moves in there. Or they live next to us, and I never, end up meeting the family later. So, and I forget why I brought that up. So if it comes back, I'll bring it back up. But right now it's leaving me. Catholic Church is boring as fuck. To stand and sit down, stand up, sit down, all while satanic and sneeze used to be making me. Oh no. The Catholic Church is like they let you know that Dracula and something is up in there because the music is creepier than the motherfucker. The music in the Catholic Church is creepier than the motherfucker. Now my mother's father's family is Black and Irish and American Indian, some kind of mix. And so those people was still doing Roman Catholic. And so my aunt was more, that's when I was young, that's the first churches we went to was Roman Catholic Church. Well, no, I'll take that back. No, it was about the same time. It was like when I would be with my aunt, we would go to the Roman Catholic Church. If I was with my grandmothers, I would go to the Pentecostal church. Like, yeah, like even my stepfather's mother, they was Pentecostal, and my father's mother was Pentecostal. So it's like it didn't matter where I lived. It was like Pentecostal was I'm going to Pentecostal church. But when I was with my aunt, we still went to Catholic church. And it's like the music they play in Catholic churches is like Dracula's behind the beam and shit. You can never relax in it. It is just the overall vibe is just the creepiest of the creepy. Like I've told this story before. My boy got ordained, and he got ordained as Lutheran or some shit like that. but he got ordained in a Catholic church. Now in Kalamazoo, we've got a mega Catholic church that's been there since the 70s. And I mean, the shape of it is kind of square, but when you get in this motherfucker, it's cathedral like. Now it's not nowhere near old as the ones here. We got two old ass Catholic churches here. That is Basilias, whatever you call them, Basilias. We got them kind here, but this one is like a more modern one. Basilias, whatever you call those. It'll come to me, but we got them because they're on major ley lines here. But in Kalamazoo, where this nigga got ordained, man, this shit, I mean, it had like little hideouts for Dracula and shit. I mean, this shit, like, I'm telling you, I'm a grown motherfucking man, and I'm up in here with my boy, and this shit is creepier than the motherfucker. Because I had never been in this building before, but it's a Catholic church, and he's getting ordained in this motherfucker. And the music was creepy, the organ is creepy, all of it's creepy. And I've said before, they gave us the biscuit and then they made everybody taste the juice. And I'm telling you, it was like the juice was nothing, like maybe this much. You see how much is in my left? It was about that much. And and then we was high the motherfucker off that shit. We drank that little shit. I was so high. My boy was like next to me. He's like, are you high? I'm like, I'm high the motherfucker off this shit. We just taste this shit. That's how strong. I guess because everybody cowboyed it. Because we was literally, hey, everybody drinking off this shit. So I guess it had to be kind of strong. So I'm just silly. Black leather wig, dragon music. You're at a Catholic church. You expect to see Dracula come out. I'm telling you, man. And then the first time I went to a Lutheran church, my stepmother's, her people was Lutheran. And so I had to go because they put my son's name in their Bible. It's in their whatever. So my son's 34, so we can go back to that church, and he's entered into being part of them. Like their grandchild or great grandchild. I guess he would be. Yeah, because my son, as far as my stepmother, was their first great grandchild. And so they put his, and I didn't even think, I guess I've talked about it before, but they put that in their Bible down in their Lutheran church. No, they were Methodists. And they put that in because what they asked, what they do is they mention it in church, but when they mention it in church, it's a public record. And it's a public record that gets put into their type of records or Bible, if you understand, their records. So if my son ever went down there and said, well, am I involved in this? They could pull out where he's involved with them. If you understand, he could say, well, I am related to them. It shows right here. I'm related to them. So if you understand, it's kind of a public record that's why when people talk about, going through your genealogy, the Bibles is and churches keep records like that. And so he could go back 34 years. That's still there for him. And he can't get no break. Well, I mean, their money helped him get to college, no doubt. My stepmother has paid for his college. My stepmother paid for my other son's college. And I think what scholarship doesn't pay for my daughter, I think they're paying her, but I don't think she needs it. I think my daughter's going straight scholarship to college. So I don't think and not sports, but, brains, smart. They also have no more white bins, only Asians up here. They also have no more white bins, no more white nuns. Oh, only Asian nuns. Okay. I saw maybe a nun here that would have been Asian, but they're Hmong or Vietnamese. Hmong or Vietnamese is because, the Vietnamese heavily Christian, Catholic, heavily Catholic. So a lot of Vietnamese, but Africans, when I play the short of Ancestor Production, he shows that the majority of Catholics and Christians in the world live in Africa. So the people that worship Jesus the most is melanated people. Melanated people worship Jesus more than anybody else. And look at Brazil. Look at South America, but that does come from the Catholic Church too, and colonization. Worshiping their God is also worshiping them, if you really look at it. So,
I just saw an article where the sister girl, Camelia Harris, trying to ponder to the melanated folks by attending the 50-year-old hip hop event. Oh, of course, of course. And I'll tell you this: like when she talked about might having to fill in. Let me grab this right quick. I'm gonna have to stand up in a minute. When she talked about when she talked about filling in, every president, vice president is prepared. It gave me the vibe. There was a movie I watched. It was a TV documentary, TV movie though, and it was showing really the trans. It was showing Harry Truman when Harry Truman met Roosevelt, and again, he wasn't Roosevelt's guy, and so but they brought him in the final because it was different. I think he had different vice president. Remember, Roosevelt was president 4 times. He's only was president 4 times. And so they have a scene where, Truman is. I'm hearing this stuff going against my teeth, so it's probably coming. But it's a scene where Truman meets him, and Truman is, like shocked how almost dead this dude is. It was like he's looking at him, and this dude is like definitely sick. And now, if you talk about a person that historically, if you look him up, was he a human or not? You look up that Roosevelt, the one they say that was crippled. And they have a crippled statue of him in D.C. of him being a cripple, which is interesting. It's interesting because they tried to hide that he was a cripple. They hid this from the world. But they said if you study him, and again, it's easy to find this, that I don't think they were able to embalm him. They try to say that he smoked cigarettes and his cholesterol and everything was so bad that they couldn't even get needles in him to embalm him. But it makes you think he really wasn't human, though, when you hear that information. But that's what they said. That they said that his veins were so tight and that he had so much wrong with him that he couldn't even embalm him. So, tells you he might have not been human. Might have been something else. So, but sports was the big thing today. I wonder if I should give some predictions for the upcoming NFL schedule. Sunday, what is it, the 12th? Want to be? Right? 10th, yeah, the 10th. Where am I at? 9/10. No, that's right. No, okay, here we go. All right. We can go through all the games. All right, let's go through the games. I'll write this down. Panthers, Falcons. I'm gonna go with the Panthers. Should look up the spread. They don't have the spread on here. That's too bad. Titans, Ravens. I'm gonna go with the Ravens. Bengals, Browns. Where are the rest of the games? Oh, okay. Here we go. I'm gonna go with the Browns at home. I should go over the points too, because I'm gonna look at this with the points. Jaguar Colts. I'm thinking the Jags on the road. Buccaneers, Vikings. I'm taking the Vikings. Titans Saints. Taking the Titans. 49ers Steelers. Oh, I looked this one up. I'm taking the Steelers at home. Cardinals Commanders. This may be a tough one. But Cardinals, yeah, I'm thinking Commanders at home. New owners. I think they're going to let the new owners win. Bears Packers. This one's interesting. I'm taking the Packers. I think they're going to, you would look at it and think that Fields being a veteran, they're going to let that young boy. They're going to let the Packers win this one, I think. This one I gave a little more thought to. Raiders Broncos. I'd say Raiders on the road. They're not going to let dude win his first game up there. Sean Payton. They're still punishing Sean Payton. They're not going to let him win his first game up there. But I still say they'll have a good season, but not the first game. Dolphins, Chargers. Ugh. I don't like this game at all. I don't like either team, but I'll say Chargers. Eagles, Patriots. Eagles on the road. And I'm going to go back and look what the point spreads too. Rams, Seahawks. Ooh. Seahawks are tough at home. I'll say they're going to let Geno win another. I think Geno won opening last year. I'm going to say Seahawks. And I got the Seahawk jersey, but I just don't like that. That is ugly. It's not stiff. It's not stiff. Rams, Seahawks. Yeah, I'm taking the Seahawks. Cowboys, Giants. I say Dak gets hurt and they put in the other boy, and the other boy beats the Giants. I'm saying the Cowboys win. I'm saying Cowboys. And Monday night, we got the Bills and the Jets. Yeah, I'm saying Bills. I don't think Brett Favre won his first game with the Jets either. Yeah, and he didn't go to the playoffs the first year, but he did the second. So those are my picks. And those aren't educated or point spread looked at either. So keep that in mind. Those are lazy picks. To do is watch President movie, Dave with Kevin Kline. Yeah, it's all pretty much the same. I agree there. I do agree there. Yeah, I don't need that anymore. Corvair though, man. Let me see some more of these Corvairs. This was a cool car, really was. My dad had one like this color and everything. Yeah. And I remember that, you lift this up. He crashed it. I remember they brought it back. He crashed it. And then he got a Thunderbird. But yeah, we had one of these. First car of my stepdad when I knew him. I wonder if they show the inside. I used to chew on the dashboard. I mean, I was 3-4 years old and I used to chew. This shit was right here. This shit right here. I guess that both show it. That shit right there. I used to chew on that shit. That shit was really spongy. But yeah, look how it looks. It don't look safe, do it? This motherfucker ain't got any seat belts. And it's a subcompact. And look how, this is plain in the motherfucker. So that's a Corvette and that's the Corvair. This front engine, this is rear engine. Corvair. But yeah, that shit, my stepdad, it had bites all the way across. He didn't really care. Like, he really didn't give a fuck. It was just funny. I would get in the car and I'd instantly start chewing on that shit. And he didn't seem to care. He'd like, quit chewing on my shit. It's like, when I got in there, I chewed on it. It's crazy. And this one looks a little cleaner. Corvairs. They used to have a wagon Corvair. A wagon. So that this ain't a Corvair because the engine was in the front. This engine was in the back. Granada. Granadas. I remember these Granadas. Old ass cars. I disagree with you. Falcons. Okay, Lorenzo's got Falcons, Steelers, Broncos, Packers, Bills. Okay. We got that on wax from Lorenzo. We'll look back and we got you on wax for saying that. We'll see. Corvair station wagon. Oh, so they put the engine up here because that engine, they definitely ain't in the rear on this one. Greenbrier sports wagon and a vet. Okay. I even knew people that had these Pintos. Oh, this is a Vega. Yeah, you know, you could, I think these still had some of the, but you could really soup these Vegas up. Like you could, they used to, you know, you remember the old rat cars and the old rat comics. But yeah, they used to soup the fuck out of these Vegas. Race cars. They used to try to make them all race cars. And then the 80s cars. 80s cars was ugly in the motherfucker. This was the ugly age of cars. Let me tell you what they did in the 80s. And this is stupid. This is stupid that what they did. This is what they did in the 80s. This is think about this. This is what they did. And this car proves what I'm about to say. This is what they did with car designs. GM came out with the Taurus, but already Audis came out with the 500, the 400, and the 300. I think is the way they was. Audi 5000, Audi 4000. It was something like that. And then you had the Volvos. Volvos for years was marked the safest cars. So Ford copied Audi and made round cars. GM copied Volvo and made square cars. And what really killed GM really did, you know, it was like greed. Like they would make this a Cadillac, and then they'd make a cheaper version, the Buick. Then they made the cheaper version, the Oldsmobile. And then they made the cheaper version, the Chevy. Now, what is this one right here? Chevy Celebrity. And that's what killed GM. That was their greed. Because it was like, if you couldn't afford a Cadillac, you got a Buick. If you couldn't afford a Buick, you got an Oldsmobile. If you couldn't afford an Oldsmobile, you got a Chevy. And Ford basically was the same thing. If you couldn't afford a Lincoln, you got a Mercury. You couldn't afford the Mercury, you got a Ford. And now almost neither one of them, well, Chevy still makes more cars. Ford doesn't make but any cars. They make the electric car, electric Mustang. Well, they make the Mustang, but they don't make any four-door cars anymore, just trucks. But that was 80s design. I mean, it's clear to see who, you know, who they were copying. And it's you could just see where one copied, you know, everybody make the bubble shape. Because I remember my dad bought what was that? I just looked at this ugly car. It was a Ford Topaz. Let's look this one up. Ford Topaz. Yeah, here we go. This little ugly motherfucker here. My dad bought one of these. And this car is shaped like a lemon. I mean, it really is. And I remember my stepmother kind of took it kind of hard. I was like, oh, he got this car shaped like a lemon. But it's this round little shot. And it's kind of a copy of a Opel, actually. But this is an ugly little motherfucker. I remember my dad had one of these, 84, 85. Where's more of these little ugly motherfuckers? That's a Lincoln. Here we go. This was one ugly little car. I mean, cars, they wasn't even trying to make something. You know, you was forced to buy these little ugly motherfuckers. You know, I looked like there was no creativeness, no good art in this car. Look how ugly this car is. And then, like, you know, this is the car that saved, I was telling my girl, this is the car that saved Chrysler. These ugly K cars. Like these, and I almost bought one of these. Instead, I bought a Grand, because look at the prices of these. I think the one I was looking at was like 11,000. This is 81. No, I was looking at getting like fuck. Damn, that was 88, 89. So the car, it was one like more like oh, these yeah, but they're still K cars. Well, these are considered K cars. You have the 4-door and the 2-door. And this is what saved Chrysler. This literally saved Chrysler. And this is, the Plymouth. You had the Dodge or the Plymouth. Look at this. Reliant. These are just some junky cars. And this was made by, this car here is made by Mitsubishi. Plymouth hatchback, TC hatchback. But this is I had one called the Dodge Daytona. I had this car. It was called, okay, right here it's called the Plymouth Horizon. I remember my ex-wife had a car like this, the Plymouth Horizon, and she was driving it and the wheel fell off. And I had, they called this the Colt, the Dodge Colt. Here they call it the Plymouth Champ, but this is a Mitsubishi car. These 3 cars here are made by Mitsubishi. These 3 cars here were made by Chrysler, but these 3 were Mitsubishi made. These are Mitsubishi cars, all 3 of them. Weren't even American. But it's just the ugly cars. Like, they're really ugly cars. Like even this shit here. This Gremlin. My dad had one of these and the engine blew up on him. Now this is called a Javelin. This is, if you can see these are pretty rare. AMC Javelins, these are bad. But this was a piece of shit car. What was this one called? Ambassador. Their big car was called the Ambassador. I remember these Matadors, ugly. And this was called a Hornet. This is who Jeep. This is AMC, which is American Motors, but they end up being Jeep. But at one time, Jeep made cars. These was the cars that came from Jeep. They were called American Motors. And Chrysler bought American Motors. So all that exists, the cars don't exist anymore. Even though I think for a while the Ambassador, but this was, this has the hockey stick down the side. But look how ugly these 80 cars were. They like ugly as shit. And they wouldn't even let the cars go fast anymore. Like, not only did you get these ugly, junky cars, you got these ugly, junky cars that didn't even go fast. The engines were shit. I mean, engines were literally shit. And like, look at this. They're trying to, now this is some funny shit right here. Which one is this? Okay, it was this nigga, what's it called? Chrysler. This is the Fifth Avenue. I remember this nigga gave me a ride downtown or something, me and my girl. And this nigga told me, and now this is still a K car. This is still a really cheap piece of bullshit car. I think he had this one. I don't think he had this one. I don't really remember. But I remember he's like, thought he was really pimping in this bullshit. And even when I looked at the car, I'm like, nigga, I'm from Michigan. I've seen some cars as cars. I'm not impressed by this bullshit. Now I look back and like, this is some bullshit. He probably was paying $400 a month for this bullshit car right here. At least $400 a month for this car. So this tells you how suckers. And I actually knew somebody had one of these big ass long Lincolns, Mr. McCants, because this, yeah, I guess they did cut them down for 80. Yeah, they cut them down a little bit. And these weren't bad cars, must admit. This is an 80 car. This really wasn't a bad looking car. The 75, 76, 77 was a bigger car. These really weren't bad looking cars. Their shit's trash. Falcons over Panthers and Niners over Steelers. Rest I agree with. Oh, okay. I got you. Okay. This wasn't a bad car. And these were different designers and shit. They weren't bad. Is this Granada? This is some ugly shit here. Yeah, this is okay. This is where they got cheap. This is the same car. This is a Granada, but they called it the Lincoln Versailles. Now, remember how I was saying, they got cheap and tried to have multiple cars? No, this is the same car as a Granada, but they called it the Lincoln Versailles. They want to tell you that this car is a little more. And this now, I'll say aesthetically, these cars look nice. I knew a coach that had one of these. It's like, nigga, they fooled you. I like the trunk. The trunk is sweet. I like it. I do like the trunk. I remember these cars, but these cars were Granadas and nothing more, nothing less. You was paying for a Granada. And this is one of the cars that say Ford. The Mustang and the Cougar. You could get a V8 in this car. You can still see them every now and then, but this is the car to say Ford. Whoops. Ford was about to go out of business. And this car right here saved them. You could get this in a Lincoln too. This came in a Thunderbird, and maybe this is a little older one. This is a little newer than the one that saved it. But basically, this platform right here saved Ford. That would have been in like 84, 83. Ford was about to go out of business, but the Thunderbird and the Lincoln, because you could get a V8 in this. These cars were fast. They had like killed, like people forget when you had the cars of the 60s, the race cars that you could drive in the streets. Well, they cut all that out when they made people drive 55 miles an hour, and they made it illegal to build big engines anymore. And look at this Continental. This was an ugly ass car. When they tried to make this car look like a Seville, they put the kind of torpedo back like the Seville. Looked ugly as fuck. This is ugly. These were ugly cars. Town cars were always been pretty solid. These cars were pretty solid. 86, yeah. Pretty solid car here. Not so much here. I was trying to look to see if I could find my Continental, my Lincoln. See what I was saying? How they was trying to make it look, See? That back they put on them. That's the Seville. And this is the Lincoln. See how they tried to put it back on there. Copy one another. Because what this is, like a kit. Like you put a kit on the car. But ugly ass cars, basically. Like this shit was so ugly. Look at this ugly ass car. And my boy had one of these fucking diesels. He had an 84 Oldsmobile. This is Oldsmobile. Yeah, he had this engine. He had a 2-door. What is this? This is Oldsmobile what? 98. Yeah, he had a Regency. Yep. He had the 2-door version Regency. And he had this diesel engine. He had to plug that motherfucker in. Ugly ass cars. And it's just a period of ugly cars. And what do you do when you're forced to buy these ugly ass cars? I mean, look at this shit. You imagine having to pay $400 a month for this shit. Even when it was new, it still looked like this. But I guess, time and place. But, I mean, this car, there's a beauty to this car. You look at the design, there's, yeah, it's old, but there's a beauty to the lines and everything. This seems to have more value than, some bullshit look like this. And this is another example of what killed GM. This ain't nothing but a Camry. Or no, what do they call this car? Their little Cavalier. Yeah, this is nothing but a Cavalier. They called this Cadillac a Cimarron, but this is nothing but a Cavalier. And I remember arguing with a dude, it's like, no, this is a Cavalier. But they charge him more. The dude was like, better suspension? No, it's not. This is a terrible car. It's a terrible car. And there's no art to it. But that's one thing I like. I don't know if, people are into, beauty of cars, because cars are beautiful. Like at night when you drive and you don't see the beauty. Like I was getting into my girl about, I always talk about the energy of driving. The energy of driving there are beings that feed off the movement on the roads. There's beings that feed on things going across it on the roads, and there's beings that feed on whatever the cars burn. I mean, you just think that this is for nothing. You think this is going for waste. Them putting all this carbon that comes from cars, that does not go to waste. There's beings that eat that up. And I've talked about this ever since I've been on here. There's beings that do eat that kind of thing up. And so the guy in Buffalo, I was talking about this earlier, the guy in Buffalo that got killed, that was again proven that a car could run on water. So you don't need, you don't need electricity. You got the most, the most thing we have the most is water. We can make our vehicles run on this water. And he ends up dead. So they've been had engines that'll run on other things. And this electric thing ain't taking over like people think. It's not going to take over. These gas cars ain't going away. No matter what they say, they can build all the electric cars they want. The gas cars ain't going away because there's something that feeds on it. It's a whole energy of driving that exists. And I've talked about this many times. I mean, if you really want to say, is there a spiritual aspect to it? I don't know if it's a spiritual aspect, but it's an entity that definitely controls when we drive. There's no doubt about that. There's an entity to the art of being out on roads. There's entities out there. And the only way I can really explain it to you is the troll under the bridge. That's the myth they give you to tell you there's something there. There's something there. And it's like flying, the something can't let everybody kill itself, or you ain't gonna do it, right? And I know I'm not the only one experiencing, and well, there's just to cut to the chase, it's something you can plug into that you can just make it. And I've told the story of the air traffic controller comes over to my uncle's house. His job was air traffic controller. He got off work, comes over to my uncle's house, and drinks about this much old granddad. He had one of them old ugly K cars. I was curious because he smoked a square and he drank almost half of this fifth. He drank a good 10 ounces of a fifth. And he walked to his car. I walked out because I was interested. I was like, I noticed because it was like he smoked a cigarette, 10, 15 minutes and drank that drink. So I know he was pretty lit. He got in his car. He's like, okay, I'll see you later. He sat in his car. I can't remember if he put his seatbelt or not, but he put his hands like this and that car backed up, turned to straighten the car out and backed out and drove. And he only lived a couple miles away. And I'm looking at him. He put his hands right here. He ain't never touched the steering wheel. And this car literally in front of my eyes backed up on its own. And I was like, I was astonished when it backed up. I was like, well, damn. And then when it turned to get straight, I got another view and his hands was still like this. He wasn't like this. His hands was in his hips. And he was just sitting there, he's buzzed like a bubble, like he was on a ride. and I don't care what anybody thinks. That's what I watch. But that just goes to show. Like up here, we had the clover leaves. You go to Chicago, Milwaukee, you have the snakes. I mean, this is not by accident. You go to Chicago, you got snakes all day, especially you leaving Chicago. That shit's fun to drive in a good car. I'd say anybody to go, you end up on 94. So you're going 94 south. That's one of, like, you coming like right downtown, 94 south. And you start, well, even before you see any signs that say Michigan, maybe a few, but you going 94, no, I'm sorry, east. Please excuse me. And you're going, and I say going south because you're like, you're going kind of to the south part of Chicago, I guess is why I'm saying south. But there's some curves there and good cars. That shit is fun to drive. Fun to drive. That shit is, I mean, you're up, think about it. On some of those curves, you're up almost like 7, 8 stories. Because there's buildings, you're looking at buildings right here. So you're up 7, 8 stories. So it's fun to drive. That part of Chicago is really fun. When you leave in Chicago, that shit is fun to drive in a good car. But like Cheek and Chong does a script where they drive in a car and they're smoking a joint and they're driving 5 miles an hour. And that's really what weed is. That's the difference between weed and alcohol. Because alcohol, the energy of alcohol and the spin that alcohol gives you is the same as driving. And that's why people can get away with drunk driving, because the energy matches if it's not over. Now, I'm not saying that drunk driving is drunk driving, but what I'm saying is people can get away with it because it's the same way you can plug into it. You can match the energy and the car will basically take you home. That's what I'm saying. And because you are in that state of mind. But in that state of mind, you can concentrate enough because you've done it before. Where if you don't get stopped, you'll make it. You ain't gonna kill anybody. You ain't gonna run your car into a pole. And there's people out there, if you ever hear this, you know that you've experienced this. I mean, it's really only one real time in my life that I can really say, well, 2 times that I can say I was drunk. One time I was down in Jacksonville, and damn, I'm lucky I didn't get killed down there because I got drunk and was driving to the place I ain't know, and lucky I ain't hit nothing and was able. And then the last time I really got drunk, was probably my son. Let me see, he was born in 97. We was at Peanuts party. 98, no, it had to be a little, yeah, somewhere around there, 98, 99. No, maybe a little later. He's born in 97. Yeah, somewhere around there. And I was able to drive home. As a matter of fact, in a K car. Not one of these, but a slightly newer one. In a K car. Now, this is a car I always thought was ugly. I never liked these cars. I just thought this car was so ugly. This car was so ugly. And it's funny, these were kind of collectors now. But I never liked this car. I always thought it was an ugly little car. The only one that had the nice bodies of these was the Grand Nationals. If y'all remember the Grand Nationals. Grand National or a Monte Carlo. But this one sucked. Because the Monte Carlo, you could get the T-tops. But this one, and I'm trying to think, what was the Chevy version of this called? Let me see. This is a Skylark. Yeah, the Chevy version had to be the Skylark. No, that's a Buick. Skylark is a Buick. Where's that ugly ass car? No, not finding any more of that ugly ass car. But I hated these cars. And these cars came out when I was a senior. 80. What does this say? This car back then cost 78. Yeah, 78. Yeah, because Davey had one of these. And I just thought it was the ugliest little car in the world. My boy had one of these. $5,000 back then. So that'd probably be equal to about a $15,000, $20,000 car, I guess. But this shit's ugly. I didn't like them then. I don't like them now. Yeah, they are trash. They are. Look at these pimp clothes. Oh, here's goes some shit I had, no doubt. Check this out. I definitely had this. I had some just like these. But mine was let me see. Mine would have been beige. But these was Flag Brothers. They was like in the back of a Jet magazine. This was back there. And this is how you got the Superfly clothes. But yeah, I had these platforms. Yeah, I had these platforms. Mine was like dark brown down here and more beige up here. But yeah, when I was in 6th grade, I probably had, no, I was in 7th grade. So I bet it was a size 10 platform. And when I was in 7th grade, I was probably, I was probably 5'7", 5'8". So when I wore these motherfuckers, I was probably 6 foot in 7th grade on the platforms and shit. And high-waisted pants. I'm wearing the high-waisted pants and shit. 7th grade, got that shit from Sears. I got the shoes from a place called Oakham Brothers. Yeah, you don't think I got a photographic memory. Oakham Brothers. I remember that shit. I was super fly like a motherfucker. Oh, it's more Superfly clothes. These is called Maxis. Look at this shit. George Foreman wearing some shit like that in the George Foreman movie. He wore some shit like, but look at this. This maxi, max length maxi coats. It's some ugly ass shit, but these niggas got platforms on. Oh, it's some ugly shit. And these niggas here look like they dancing for the lockers. They want to pop lock and shit. These niggas want to pop lock and shit. Don't he look like he want to start popping and shit? Electric Boogaloo and shit. Oh, look at these motherfuckers. God damn. I don't even know. This look like Skip from Skip and Shannon Sharp. That's Skip when he was younger and shit. God damn, nigga, you got your thick and thins on. With your loafers and shit. You niggas got belts on with shorts and shit. I guess that's okay, but you know how the belt come with the short. But like this right here, come on, man. Y'all too confident to be dressed so ugly. They confidently ugly dressed. I don't even know what to say about this shit here. This look like, what this shit right here look like? Like they would give you the pattern and you have to sew it and shit. That's what this shit is. This shit is where they would give you the pattern and you'd have to sew this shit. So, you get your girl to sew this shit for you. That's how this shit come. This ain't no shit you could buy. This is some shit where people would sew you some shit. Yeah, this hat, bad. Like these niggas, yeah, the 70s with some ugly ass clothes. Look, these niggas got on bell bottoms with cuffs. Nigga, can you get any more country than bell bottoms with cuffs? God damn.
Oh, this definitely to get a little lively in here. This gets the sly.
What are we doing?
Well, we're doing bell bottoms with cuffs.
What are we doing?
And the shit is in lime. Bell bottoms cuff with lime color.
What are we doing?
And then you got the nigga with the little tight jacket on. He's got the tight jacket on. You know, the jacket is cut up because his pants is so high. So he's got the tight jacket on with the high-waisted pants.
What are we doing?
So I don't know where these niggas, like, where would you really go where you had bell bottoms with cuffs and shit? These niggas got cuffs in their bell bottoms. God damn. Oh, shit. These niggas, I guess this is like a play of almost a modern, God damn, I don't even know what, but look, this nigga's wearing a jumpsuit. This nigga's like, he's got a prison suit on and don't even know it. You know, this is like a prison suit now. If it was orange, but he was buying it, styling it, wearing with a jumpsuit with his big hat on. He's got the prison suit on with his big hat on. Okay, I feel you. I feel you. Damn, this nigga looks like he's an action figure. Don't he look like an action figure and shit? He's like, hey, this is a super nigga. This nigga's got the short jacket on, and the only thing he got, like, he's got taco meat showing. No t-shirt. You know, I'm on niggas with t-shirts. No t-shirt. And he's got some kind of Zorro little button like you would do a blouse and shit. Oh, he's got some platforms on, tight ass pants, high waisted, and then look at his boy. You can get this in light brown or light blue, you know. Oh my goodness, this is some funny looking shit. Damn. This is like the black Leroy Neiman. I know you got to be old to get that joke. But like, what is this? Corduroy Ranger suit. Corduroy Ranger suit. Who comes up with this shit? Corduroy Ranger suit. Sturdy corduroy tailored. Wait a minute, this is tailored. You can buy tailored corduroy. No, you can buy tailored corduroy. God damn. Oh, I never heard of such a thing. And you can get corduroy with cuffs. You can get corduroy with cuffs. Corduroy with cuffs. Oh. Hey, he's very arrogant. You know, he's very arrogant with his turtleneck and his corduroy. Oh, the trousers are baggy and elephant bells, which takes the new 3.5-inch cuff colors. So you got elephant legs. They saying these ain't even bell bottoms. These is elephant legs, which is even larger than bell bottoms. Oh man, they ain't got my size. See, they only got small or extra large. 3.5-inch cuff. How you want your cuff? Hey, I need that 3.5-inch, baby. Oh, my sinuses are suffering. Oh man, I laughed. Oh, this is too funny to me. These are some funny niggas to me. I'm sorry. This shit is funny to me. They Ranger suit. Yeah, I guess if you're wearing all corduroy, you got to be a ranger. Oh my goodness. And I'll make fun of myself. So where did I get this suit from? So to tell the whole story, I'm trying to, so this story might not be right. I'm trying to remember, because I don't remember where I got the suit from. I was gonna say it came from a talent show, but I don't think so. But anyway, when I was in high school, I had a three-piece corduroy,
tailored. So I guess I lied. 3-piece, but it looked better than this shit. It was nice, country-like looking jacket with a vest and pants. So all season I've been wearing shit that was tailored for me. But I had went home and grabbed this extra suit. And without really looking at it, I took it on the road. And so when I put it on, matter of fact, we were in Jacksonville. When I put it on, because we was playing Bethune-Cookman, right? Yeah, we was playing Bethune in Jacksonville. When I put it on and looked in the mirror, I knew I had made a mistake. And my friends teased me. And what was so bad was the coach came over and said, "Oh, you got a new suit." And my guys, when the coach said that and walked away, them niggas clowned me about that suit. So I burned that. I did like Frank Lucas. I burned that motherfucking corduroy suit. So that I was embarrassed in Jacksonville. And I'm in Florida with fucking corduroy. But I don't even remember how I got that suit. It wasn't, because the talent show, I got an orange. Thinking the talent show, I had like an orange outfit, orange blue jean outfit in the talent show when I was a freshman. But this was a good laugh. Ranger suit. Yeah, it was some ugly ass clothes in the 70s. And like these, puffy shirts. These is like tuck shirts. Them is tuck shirts, This is some ugly shit. So yeah, clothes wasn't better then. Like, what is it with niggas in suspenders? You remember Rerun always had suspenders on every day? Well, this is the McHappens. Welcome to your double date. What do they call them? Yeah, this is some funny shit. This is some funny shit. Like this dude right here, he wants to go, "I'm feeling fine on cloud 9. Oh, I got a story with this suit right here. Yeah, I definitely got a story with a suit like this. These is leisure suits. Magnificent new double knit suits. Yeah. And these were called leisure suits. And let me see if they're called this. Let me see. Superb suits to catch up on every social blah, blah, blah. Polyester, double-breasted. They got a double-breasted one? I don't see a double-breasted one. Yeah, but these were called leisure suits. That's what the name of these polyester suits were. They called leisure suits. And my cousin had a gold one. And I think when I was in 9th grade, I was taller than my cousin, but the suit fit me because I was over there fucking with the suit. And he had this suit right here, kind of in yellow. So again, I'm 14 years old. This nigga's a senior. And he let me wear it to one of my playoff 9th grade games. In 9th grade, we had the playoffs for the city. And, it's like 10, 11 teams, whatever it was. And we was playing, for the city championship as freshmen. And this is what I wore over my basketball jersey. I wore it was like gold, but very close to this kind of material. But I'm wearing these high-waisted in the coat. But I think that motherfucker had a belt too. Belt that like hung in the back. That's what that shit reminds me of. But where was that one of Johnny Guitar Watson? But look at this. This is super elephant pants. This is just straight elephant leg. Do they call that elephant legs? What do they call this? What do they call this? The bold new look of flocked hound. What do they call this shit? Hound stock slacks. Flare. Now these is more elephant legs than flares. I can barely see this shit. The Bordello waistband. Man, this is some ugly shit. Imagine trying to wear this in some wintertime. Oh, here's this houndstooth. Flocked hound. Why would they call, what is flocked? Flocked, okay. This is some ugly shit. This is some ugly shit. Just laughing at these niggas wearing this shit. Look at this shit here. Damn, dudes used to dress ugly. Oh my goodness. I'm just laughing. Man, it was a good, decent movie. Oh my goodness, what was this movie called? I gotta get the name of this movie. I watched it last night. God, what was that movie called? Wonder if she up. Oh, I might can look it up on here. Might showing the history of the movies, what we watched. But I want to spoil about what this movie was about. And it was bogus. This shit was kind of bogus. If you looked at it, it became. Let me see. Yeah, I think this is history. It's not gonna go deeper into my history. No, no, no. Let's see. I had to ask her. But anyway, I'll tell the premise of the movie. So, the way the movie starts is it is almost Groundhog Day-ish, but it's kind of set in the 50s. And so the way it starts is everybody wakes up, they cook breakfast for their spouses, the spouses leave. They go to work. All right? The women stay there, they stay busy, they do things, they stay busy. The husbands come home, she dresses up for him, and she makes dinner, but instead of having dinner, they have sex as soon as he comes home. All right? And it goes on like this. Well, slowly one of her friends starts acting different. Her son had disappeared, and she started acting different. And so the main female character started noticing that. And she started noticing events. She notices a plane crash. She tries to see, what it crashed from. And it puts her on a path of looking at this reality. And I'm going to go right to what the reality is without, what the reality was. And this is how dirty it is. So what you see is the main character was once a great surgeon. I mean, this chick was working like the scene they show where you see she's a doctor. She's just done working 30 hours. Her man is like a type of computer nerd. Part-time job, not really doing it. The wife don't want to give him none because she said, I just been working 30 hours. I just want to go get some rest. I got to go back to work. So in their real life, she was the boss and he was nothing. So what he found to do is he found to put her in a reality where he was the boss and she was subservient to him. And it comes to find out this is all fake. And what's even gross is when you think of what you see is he's really giving her medicine. He's keeping her alive by putting these, we've seen it before, they put a reality. Like they put it in your eyes. He's got her on IV, so she's not eating. He'd have to have her on some bag because she's not going to the bathroom too. You'd have to have her. She's not doing anything but laying there. But she, in her mind, she thinks she's living this reality. And so think about how sick this is. What it turned out to be is the men could leave the reality. The women were stuck in it. So he had put his wife, had drugged his wife and hooked her up to this reality where she didn't even remember herself. And she slowly starts remembering herself. And so he's going to work, coming home, and when he comes home, he rapes this unconscious woman every day. And no long how many years they've been there. But this is what the dude was doing, because like you see every day they come home, they have sex. Well, really what it is he's getting off work and he's coming home and he's raping this unconscious woman that they done hooked up to this machine. And the way you could get out of the reality is you had to drive. And so she starts leaving the reality. And, I think what happened to her little boy is her little boy was able to leave the reality. And she didn't realize what had happened, how he had disappeared. And they apparently wasn't able to put him back in. And so she ends up killing her husband. If you kill her husband in that fake reality, he dies in the real reality. And then she sees her friend cut her own neck in that reality, so she would die in the other reality. And then at the end, she kind of gets away. They leave you hanging, but she kind of gets away. But it was thought provoking to put all the pieces together. So if anybody watched that, it's on. I don't know. I have to look and I'll try to remember the name of it. But it was a thought provoking movie. So if that sounds, it's on one of the streaming services. Oh my goodness. Yeah, niggas was clowns in the 70s, late 70s. The clothes was clown clothes in the 70s. The way we dress now is the best the humans have ever dressed. Nothing is ever going to replace a sweet sweatsuit or a sweet hoodie and Levi's. Levi's is forever going to be in style. Forever, Levi's are going. I got a pair of 505s painter pants, but they're 505 Levi's on right now because I ain't had time to get comfortable. This is what I wore. Took my jacket off. I think it's downstairs. I had to wear that nasty polo jacket too. I looking good outside. We outside and shit. The pool's all lit up. Niggas looking good. That's the only way. But I'm gonna talk shit. Yeah, these are some uncomfortable motherfuckers. I ain't wore these in about a year, and I wore these motherfuckers today, and these motherfuckers hurt my feet. Like, there's no air zoom. There is max here, but there's no air zoom. The insole, this is no zoom. These are some uncomfortable. That's why I'm about to put them back in the box. And I just saw these in like this is all corduroy. This was our nubuck, nubuck they call it now, or suede. More probably nubuck than suede. But it was the same model. And these are some uncomfortable motherfuckers. So as I praise shoes, these shoes ain't shit. These shoes ain't comfortable. Hurt my feet. And that's with my insoles in. They ain't comfortable. So I talk shit about shoes too. That's why I don't know how y'all wear Air Force Ones. That's some uncomfortable shit. I don't know how y'all wear that shit and walk around. That shoe ain't got nothing in it to help you at all. Oh, yeah, Danny Masterson got 30 years. The dude from, guess that's the only, Walt Frazier. I guess that's the only debauchery I could talk about Hollywood. Is that nigga. Let's see. I can erase that. Go back here. But yeah, I hadn't really been around other than sports to what's going on. I hope it's been a peaceful weekend. Cause you never know. Yeah, it looks like it's been a peaceful week and everybody's cool because everybody's waiting for the pro games tomorrow. Everybody's waiting for the NFL. So, it's like Christmas for some people. This is what I was talking about is football. Football is a religion. I'm sorry, I lost my thought. Football is a religion. Football has taken over. Football has made the church change and adapt. Football has made the TVs adapt where they want football. There's football from the time you wake up until the time you go to bed. Football doesn't end until about 10:30. And then those of you that like watching highlights, you can stay up and watch football for 12 hours. So it's more than a religion. And it literally will have you stuck in your house for 10, 12 hours where you don't go anywhere. I mean, I've talked to a number of people don't plan on doing anything, and I'm not going anywhere. Now, my girl's having one of her bridal showers tomorrow, her second bridal shower tomorrow. So, she ain't going to be here, but I'm going to be here, and my daughter ain't here with me. So, well, she might come. We might go swimming, but I doubt it. But I'm still going to put on a Vikings jersey and watch the game and drink Elliot Nest and eat food. I'm going to be merry. I am definitely going to be merry, and I'm not going to be the only one. So, if you don't think that's a religion and you don't think that's a cult, I mean, look at these hats and, all the teams and stuff. That's kind of a cult, kind of a religion. Yeah, it looks like it's been a pretty restful weekend. Oh, man, our gas has went up. Yeah, our gas has super went up. Early last week I paid $4.59, $3.59. Today it's $4.19. So it's went up that much. And it's all because they blame the winter blend, because it's a different blend in the winter. And that's what they're trying to blame is the winter blend. So substantially. Church. Oh yeah, this new mega church. People are pissed. They're building a new mega church here. Yeah, and people are pissed about it. You don't need a mega church. They mad at the motherfucker because there's a big ass church about to be built. Oh, football done became a holiday. Look at the Super Bowl. Yeah. Oh yeah. I've watched it. I've watched every Super Bowl. The first Super Bowl I was in maybe first grade. Yeah, I think first grade. No, maybe kindergarten. First Super Bowl, kindergarten. Yeah, and then the Joe Namath, I got the Sports Illustrated for the Joe Namath one, so I remember that one too. Uh, so, so yeah. Oh, the Super Bowl is definitely a holiday. hmm Yeah, it's a holiday, no doubt, no doubt, it's a holiday. I mean, this is if you determine what a holiday is look at the malls, look at the stores, look at the restaurants. I mean, if you're not showing the Super Bowl, I'm not saying the restaurants that show the Super Bowl, but I'm saying the restaurants that that participate, that the restaurants that that the restaurants that don't participate in the Super Bowl. Look at those compared to the ones that do. Look at the malls. Look at the stores. Nobody's there. Like on my way to my brother-in-law's last year, we had to stop and go to the mall for something. I had to buy a hat or something. And it was like it was not many people out there, and I was the only one with the Eagle shit on. Everybody else, because we're closer to Kansas City, so most people up here were pulling for Kansas City. So I saw a few people with Kansas City, but there's nobody hardly in there before. We had to pick up a few things. So yeah, it's definitely, and see that's the college has slowly been trying to create a Super Bowl like atmosphere. I just think the problem is, as I said before, the idea that everyone has a chance, people see that ain't so. And like they went for a system where the voters, the writers controlled all of it, and they still kind of do. And the writers think they know better who should play than the college football system. They put the system in the writers' hands, and that's the kind of how they fixed it too, and kind of how they kept small colleges out of it. Yeah, by letting the writers be in control of who's in first, second. That's so. When now they have the opportunity to, as I said, these other leagues are going to form. I mean, it's super conference. This is just you can see it happening. That's the only way it's going to survive. But it's like the G League. The G League in small markets could be shown every game. G League teams, and even the smaller teams, could be shown in small markets to be successful. So other leagues could be successful, and so they will be. Why do you think all of a sudden, look at the NBA, how they're banking on to see how popular this in-season tournament is going to be, when they've had the ability to do, it should have been, they should have copied what college has done a long time ago. One and done. It would have made the NBA more exciting to let everybody. I mean, I still don't understand not letting, like they kind of did it in the bubble, letting everybody have a chance. What are they afraid of? One and done, have a chance. I mean, you've got to fix things. So you're used to fixing games, but still, what are you afraid of? It would have been more exciting. So we'll see what this is going to be. Even though it's fixed, it's still a part of entertainment. So. I'm just tripping with this motherfucker. So yeah, it's been like, wow, this is great though. It's hasn't really been any debauchery. Yeah, just regular shit, which is great. Well, I think I better go to bed. I'm tired, and if I'm gonna get up and play pickleball, which I don't know, but it's 3:30 in the morning, and I've been on. Yeah, watch ain't worked in hours, so I don't know why I keep looking at the motherfucker. So I'm gonna enjoy football. I might get up and play. I don't know. Probably not. I'm feeling lazy right now. Might not. Woo. Might not. We'll see. But just hope you enjoy. Just hope you enjoy yourselves and the start of this ritual, because this is just definitely the start of it. There's no doubt that we've seen the sacrifices. Zach has shown sacrifices, and so we've seen the sacrifices already. People dying, and that's that's how they start. They take blood, and then when we see near the championships, they'll start taking more blood, and they'll take blood all the way up into the Super Bowl. I mean, those of you, this was on my other channel, but I think some of you that followed me long enough remember when I think it was 18 or 19, maybe, yeah, because I still had my old channel, so maybe it was 18 or 19, and there were 22 people that died. And not only that, there was a person that died that night. Matter of fact, no. There was a player that died that night, and then there was the NBA basketball player, and his wife died that night in a car accident. Y'all remember that? So it was like, I think it might have been the nigga number 24. But it was like 20 some people in 2 weeks, all entertainment or athletics. But that year was mostly athletics. It was like 22 people we counted in the 2 weeks before the Super Bowl. And as I mentioned, and maybe it was 20, and then the couple that got killed, the 3 people got killed that night. I know I counted them, but it was like 22, maybe that they made 23 leading up to the Super Bowl in that one year. So I mean, it's undeniable that this happens, that they sacrifice the older players and singers, people in the movies. I mean, they all sacrifice it around this time. The sacrifices start coming. Like the first of the year, we have where the entertainers start getting sacrificed because you got the Grammys coming up, then you got the Emmys. So you start seeing them getting offed. And like a dude like Frank, what was his name? I'm old man. And Al Ajay. Damn. But anyway, that dude, they had said this guy had died years before, and he dies right before the Grammy. Franklin, no. I can hear his songs and I can picture Al Ajay. I'm old man and I'm a little high and a little tired, so please forgive me. But that cat, they laid him down. They laid him down right before the Grammys. And it was like saying that he had been sick for a minute though already. So don't think they won't keep you alive and just keep you breathing, because again, you can live forever if they just, make you breathe. And then they pick the time that it sets up for you to die, because it is, the gematria and all that, it for some reason they do want the blood in that order. They want the blood to add up. And that's undeniable. They want the blood to add up. And so you even wonder the artificial push that we see some of these people get because of their names and how their names add up and how, when they're born, the time they're born. It seems like all this seems to have something to do with the way certain people are pushed. Now, I'm not talking about, sons of famous people. Of course, they're easy to set up. Easy to, calculate when the children are born, because this is all straight ritual. So the people are going to have the children the way the ritual prescribes for them to have the children. So everything adds up for those children. And so they go through some weird shit to accomplish this, but this is how it's done. So that everything adds up. So when they come calling, it seems to be this is what they want. They want everything to add up into saying that this is going to be, and it was always marked to be this person's doom. And I bet Zach had started looking at people like he called with Prince, when he saw that Vanity died, that he's like, Prince better be careful. Because things are adding up where it don't look like they're coming after you too, buddy. And that your script might have been bigger than what you two even both knew. Because they could have been, it could have been years into the making that they would end up to the point where they did emerge and meet. And what success they didn't really have much success together other than the one song I know, Sex Shooter. I think that album was the only album she really, because she was with Motown. People forget that's why she would have never been in Purple Rain, because she was with Motown. And so even when they, that they got together then, it was probably already prophesized, already written that they would get that time together. And then it was time to die. They was connected from that time, that short time when they was at their peak. So they had to die together. If you understand that kind of thinking. And so this process still goes on. That hasn't went away. The way other people are being born, the people that's charting this. I mean, these people that've done this, charting the stars and these birth charts. This has been going on for hundreds of years. And so whatever you want to call these people that are in charge of all this, whatever you want to call them, they're good at what they've done, what they've been doing. And they know when to call people home. They're perfect at that. They show us this over and over again. And I guess, again, the biggest is the why. Why is the blood so important on this date? Why is the cycle of the blood and the sacrifice so important for you? Like, tell the world really why you set it up like this. I mean, since all is revealed, reveal it all. Because it's obvious what you do. You leave something that can be followed. You're leaving breadcrumbs that can be followed. So it's not like you're doing this in the dark. We see what you're doing. So it's like you're doing this for us to see that you're doing this. So give us more explaining, be more forthcoming on why you're doing this. Because some people are so naive, and even though they know they've signed their life away or their energy force, that's really what they're giving away. It's not your soul, it's just your energy force. We know that they're soul suckers. There are soul suckers. I mean, that's known, and that's what you sign up for. You give that up. It's like a vacuum cleaner takes you instead of you being free when you die. It's that simple. A vacuum cleaner takes you instead of you being free when you die. So, the vacuum cleaner has already determined when it needs to suck you up. That's the interesting thing compared to others when you just die when you die. And you're free from this. Well, that's the end for them. For us, it's the start. For a lot of people you might idolize, that's the end for them. When the vacuum cleaner sucks them up when they're dead, that's it. That's what they've agreed to. We haven't made that agreement. Whatever this is, we haven't made that agreement, and whatever can escape from here is free. So I guess if there's any free will, that's the free will, is when you die, you do have the right to be free of this. But you do have to prepare for it. No doubt. You have to prepare for it. It's not going to be given to you. I mean, the spiritual thing is the more spiritual you are, and the true spiritual people know you catch hell. If you try to keep hell away from you, you catch it. Because it's all around us. And this is not easy. It's not easy. Like even when we was talking about, the games and stuff, what I experienced and what y'all experienced. This ain't easy. It ain't easy for me to look at that event and say, this is what I saw the event for. And then y'all see, what's the common story now. That's not easy for me. It's like, well, why did I see it like this? And something that doesn't even seem like the Lakers winning 33 instead of 32. Why was it necessary to change that? 32 is still a Mason number. But yet it was changed. But I don't question my sanity. I mean, I know some things I remember. But I just know what this thing wants and how it operates. And so I was like, okay, I just noticed. I noticed. That's all. I was like, okay, I noticed. I noticed. And that's what you have to do, is you just have to notice. And know that. And it's as simple as this, is just be a good person. That's really a simple thing. Just be good to people. Be good to yourself. Be good to your loved ones. Just be good to people. Like my son got in a bar fight. He only been going to bars last couple years. I was just thinking, when I was in my 30s, when I lived in this area, I mean, I probably for 3 years, we literally went out every day. Saturdays, if we didn't go see the Timberwolves played, we didn't go out on Saturdays. That'd be the one night we probably didn't go out. It was Friday or Saturday. I forget which night. Seemed like after the Timberwolves games, we went out. So it's probably Friday night. But it seemed like it was Saturday night. Because Sunday night was Mall of America. Monday, every night we went out. Not one time did I ever get in a fight. Not one time. Not one time did I ever get in a fight. But I'll admit this, when the essays is together, they're a lot more courageous. If they outnumber, they are courageous. If the numbers are even, they're not as courageous. I'll say that. They seem to be courageous in big numbers, but if they don't have the numbers, they don't seem to be as courageous. Seems like they are group fighters. That's what it appears. And so you can take that out as what you want out of it. And I haven't had any beefs with any of these people, But I'm just saying that's what it seems like. And I see the young people and how they act. And that's what I get out of it. I'm like, okay, when you have numbers, you guys are really bold. But that's a different topic. But yeah, to be really like on the spiritual path is hard. And you're rejected. And like even what I'm, what I was talking about the roads and stuff. My girl was like, well, that sounds kind of crazy. And you hear all things when you start coming up with your own theories of how this goes and how this works. That's all they can tell you because they can't really comprehend what you're telling them. That's all it is. Because I don't look like what I talk about. I have no doubts. I don't doubt it, what I say. I don't doubt it at all. And I hope when I bring it across, it comes to that. I don't doubt. Like I'm saying with Curry, what I'm saying is I experienced. I know what I've experienced. I don't question what I've experienced. I know I've known my perception for years. As you see, I remember. I remember most things. I remember a lot. And little details that most people my age would forget. And there are so many things that want to take you off any kind of spiritual path. So much doubt is raised. What good is it? How is it good raising your vibration? What does it do for you? And I just say you feel better when you raise your vibration, first of all. You just feel better. And that goes like the witch says, love her above. It goes there. Now, it doesn't mean, that you're in love with everything and you're just a simp and you walk around like a simp. No, it doesn't mean that. It means that you can really look at things in your own humanity. You can look at things in your own humanity and appreciate life. And not appreciate when someone's gone. You can look at the people in front of you that you interact with, the ones you love, and every minute that you're around them, you appreciate it. And so once you get to that, you look at everything around you and you appreciate even more. Nature. These are the things you just start to appreciate even more, the things that are free around us. The cardinal directions, the forces out there of nature that we interact with, like it or not, we have to interact with them. So obviously they're a type of entity, energy there. Now, yes, they can manipulate the weather, and some weather they can't. There's some parts of it they can control, and there's some parts they can't control. And so the part they can't control, we can have a relationship with the weather. Our own personal relationship with the weather. And I know this, I've said this many times before. If driving goes with it. If you can't call on this stuff to, you can't call on the earth to hold you to the earth. And you can ask the wind to hold you in if you don't have a relationship with these things. You've never been in nature and just hear the trees try to tell you a message, and you hear the message like miles away, and the wind brings the message to you, but you hear it miles away at first. You stirred enough energy and you start listening and hear the message come. Then the breeze just blows through you. Or have a tornado follow you. And just witness the tornado follow you. Because it's this energy. It's created. And it's funny you can interact with this. But again, you have to start somewhere with it. Touch a tree, put your feet in the ground, feel the breeze, understand that there's something that could be beyond their control. Because they don't control it all. It doesn't appear they control it all. And all you have to do, your only role is just to be good to life, be joyful, find someone to love something. It's important to love and interact with people. And that's what we're here for, is to interact with people, care with people, share with people, find joy, find sadness, find disappointment, find being mad at a motherfucker. This is all that we should experience. Because if you just stuck in one emotion, what is real? We're a gamut of emotions. And so we have to experience all of them to understand that these are emotions. You're young, you just don't understand. But as you get older, you're just like, okay, this is making me emotional. And how to control that. And once that's really the start of really controlling everything, of how you interact with people. You know what does it say? Know when to fold them, know when to hold them. Know when to fold them, know when to hold them. Know how to read the crowd. And that's the same way with checking your ego. Because you talk to motherfuckers, the ego, like I was saying, with a lot of the Mexican brothers, ego. A lot of times these are shorter dudes, and all these groups of shorter dudes want to fight. It's brothers when they ganged up. But when they not ganged up, it's not like that. But we all know how to act in a certain kind of way to find joy within ourselves and joy in what we do and joy in everyone. And it is sad when there's people that don't have anyone. And what's even sadder is people that settle because they don't want to be alone. Because that's just as harmful. When you settle just because you don't want to be alone. Because when you settle like that, there's a lot of disappointment comes with that. Because you've compromised your own self. You've compromised your integrity. And comfort can win. Don't get me wrong. Comfort can win. My oldest daughter, she took her ex-gay man that did all kind of debauchery, and she married him for comfort, pension. So comfort can win. But the path, and I don't even know if the righteous word is even it, because that's tied too much to religion, but just the path of just being a solid person. Just being a loving, solid person. And that if you keep your life at that level and the way you deal with people, and the spiritual stuff starts to come because you take it seriously. You start seeing it all. And so even the spiritual experiences you pay more attention to, and you make them more meaningful more each time. And you start seeing and you start hearing. You start seeing and start hearing. Like he said, those who have ears will hear. That's why I put, is it loud enough? Because those who have ears will hear my message. Like I was talking to a lady today, I was like, well, what do you podcast about? I'm like, I ain't for everybody. So I don't just put myself out there. I want to keep this relationship like this. Because I don't want to say anything that's offensive. I don't mean to be rude. I don't mean to be rude. Well, I think I'm going to go. Yeah, it's 4 o'clock in the morning. I thought I'd do a long Chocolate Mountain show because I'm pretty geeked. And it was a great. I've been going 3.5 hours, and it was a great night of sports. And so I think I've went long enough. Ready to take off these damn clothes because I'm fully dressed. Usually I'm just in some the shirt, but I'm fully dressed. I've been like this for hours, and I need to stand up. So y'all, thank you. I appreciate those who hung in and supported me through the years. B. Brown, thank you. I appreciate it. I don't ask for it, but when people do donate to the show, I appreciate it. So I thank you so much. So check me out. I should be back around because I'm not coming tomorrow night. I don't know. It depends on the game goes, but I doubt it. I don't know. I might do a show tomorrow night. I'm not sure. Depending how late the game goes to see if I want to stay up and go over the games tomorrow night. probably. So I can't say, but it just depends how late at night it is. Because I know I'm getting up Monday morning, but I have to check out the weather and everything to see. So